On this episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, we talk about a Houston stoner that meets a tiger. We do a Girl Scout cookie and bourbon review, and our special guest, Jeremy White. All that and more on this episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Here we go. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's two guys take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting from the Busted Knuckles studio right here in beautiful downtown historic Concord, North Carolina. I'll be your host, Biggin, and how about you? We've got a great show lined up for you, as always, but before we begin, let me introduce you to the second half of this flaky biscuit. That's right, I'm talking about the pride of Anderson, South Carolina, but most of you probably know him best as the Silver Tongue one, 2016's Honorable Mention Grammy Nominee of the Year, the inventor of the Redneck Egg Roll. Give it up on old mic number one, it's Mojo! How about you, buddy?
The most exciting podcast coming out of Concord, North Carolina.
The number one
most
exciting podcast coming out of Concord.
If there was an exciting category, I guess.
We would nail it.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for tuning in once again. You have reached the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, as you've heard aforementioned.
Leave a message.
That's right. Please go to our Facebook page at Southern Fried Philosophy. You can also go to our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com, Twitter's and Instagram at SFP Radio, our youtube.com/SFP Radio. Most importantly, please go to our iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, FBI.gov, wherever. Spotify. I can't remember all the listings now, but anywhere you listen to a podcast, most likely you can find us, unless it's some Azerbaijan podcast aggregator.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Watch your mouth.
That way.
It's a family show.
But anyway, please do that. Go like, subscribe, review, rate. That's the most important. And, please share those favorite episodes as you've been doing.
Yep. Hey, listeners, you're doing your job. We don't have multi-million dollars to spend on marketing, but you're doing a good job. This week, we're going to ask you to do one thing and one thing only. Just share one episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Put it on your Facebook page. Say, hey, I really like these guys, and all your friends should too. We are 2 people right now away from getting 500 likes on Facebook.
Right.
So we're right there. I mean,
somehow we put the page up wrong because it's not listed properly like like a business pages or entertainment pages. So we did something wrong in our initial layout. So it's
that's a shocker.
It's kind of hard where random people can find it. It really takes people to be interactive with it. So we apologize for that. We may be setting up something else along the way. That way people can randomly see stuff like that. But talk about our new listeners. Yeah,
we have got some from Port Neches, Texas. I don't think I'm saying that right. Port Neches. It sounds cool, though. Noches. I'd like them with chicken and some barbecue sauce on it. Yeah. The guac and the sour cream. That's how I like my nachos.
Nachos mamas.
Yeah. We also got some listeners out of Russia. It doesn't say where. It just says Russia and Germany. So, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
We are worldwide, y'all.
Whoever the person is in Tavistock, England.
Come on with it.
Yeah. Hello from America.
The other thing, and I don't know if this should bother me or not, I'm going to ask you, if you look at our stats, and you can see where people generally are listening, one of them says unknown, unknown.
I'm thinking that could be the U.S. space station.
Oh.
Or maybe it's extraterrestrial life.
I think the aliens are listening to us.
I'm debating on getting in touch with George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and see if he can help us figure that out.
What does this mean? That's a great idea. The only 2 continents that we are not part of are Africa and Antarctica. So, y'all.
Yeah, one day.
We need it. We need those.
We'll figure out a contest. We can't pay you, but we'll reward you in love and hugs.
As I said earlier, guys, we don't have a marketing budget, so we're relying on you. So please, please, please share our Facebook page. Just mention it to somebody. In fact, right now, if you're close to somebody, this is just between us. So just grab their phone right now and just subscribe them to the podcast, and they won't even know. So we can try that. So just steal their phone. That's an option. The other thing you can do is you can go on to Patreon and you can check that out, and you can give to the show. The other thing, too, that we've been told by our legal representation, thank you, Miss Paula Yost, shout out to you from last week's episode, is we're going to not use the licensed music anymore. So we're going to kind of dump our bumper music. But if you yourself are part of like a band, if you know how to do a garage band thing and you want your music to be like a bumper music for our show, please email us at sfpradio@gmail.com. About like 20, 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be anything major. So for our wacky news or our hot topic bits, just, something pretty snazzy would be great. So if you can do that, if you want to be part of the show, you can just email us at, again, sfpradio@gmail.com, and we can actually use your music. So I think that'd be kind of cool, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Listener contributing. You'll get credits on the show.
Mention it.
Yeah, and also if you do have a band or musician website, we will plug that also just to make sure that you get credit for it.
The other thing that an exciting announcement is we've been in contact with States Vegas Radio,
right?
And they want to host our show. So it's an internet radio show. So we want to give shout outs to them. We will be actually one of their podcast shows that they were going to promote. So, if that's just another way you can listen to us and you can listen to the other shows that they have, just check them out at States Vegas Radio at
Facebook, yeah.
Facebook
is one.
Or StatesVegasRadio.com.
Yeah, they're based out of Statesville, North Carolina.
Right around the corner. Just right up the road.
About 45 minutes.
There you go. So, good night. That was a lot of business.
Yeah.
A lot of business.
There you go.
So let me go ahead and ask you like I ask you every week. Mojo, how you be doing?
I'm happier than a pothead outside.
Whoa!
I'm happier than a pothead outside of a dispensary who just found a Girl Scout cookie table that had a special going 2 for $1. So
whoa!
That's how happy I am.
You were doing great then.
Yeah, I'm in love with it. Yeah. No, good weeks. Just glad to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like extraordinary I can point out, but man, just happy. Just living life and. Hashtag living my best life. I guess that's the most popular one out there. No, just happy, man.
Yeah.
Getting ready for motorcycle season here. And,
ooh, that got you itching a little bit?
Yeah, it's been a good year already, but I'm itching for more.
Mm-hmm.
And, just good.
Good.
How you be doing?
I'm doing well. Well, being operative. I had the sickness this past week, and it kind of run me ragged where I was just tired the whole day. I don't know if you ever had that where you're just like, bleh. You barely feel like getting up out of the bed. It feels like you got hit by a Mack truck. I had that for a while. So, one of the things, though, that did make me sad this week was the UK versus LSU basketball game.
That was a couple bad calls in the game, and it led to just a bad. I mean, I'm not a UK fan, so
sure.
Anybody but UK. But I got to give it, man. It was bad calls on behalf of the refs, and not being able to review a last second play and things like that. It was just bad news.
So what happened? We were tied. It was 6 seconds left on the clock. LSU came down and threw up a shot. It bounced off the rim, and then another guy tipped it in. That should have been, based on where the ball was positioned within the cylinder, would have been a goaltending call. Mm-hmm. Here's what's frustrating me, is you have, at the end of basketball games, 500 timeouts for officials to review every stinking play possible. Mm-hmm. Except it's written in the book that you cannot reverse a goaltending call at the very last few minutes of the game, which
makes
is
no sense.
Absolutely ridiculous. You have everything else. Might as well just do the goaltending, because that would have at least put us into overtime.
Right.
Now, would we have won? I don't know.
At least you had a fighting chance.
But at least we had a fighting chance. We should have done a whole lot better. The thing that killed us was the 12-3 run that LSU went on and put us out. So that was frustrating. I think that'll probably knock us out of a 1 seed going into the tourney. So our best chance now is a 2 seed, with Virginia being the 1 seed in the bracket. So
right.
We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, that was just there was a lot of, by the time you listen to this episode, obviously it'd be a week later, but man, it was upset Tuesday, man. It was a lot of big teams that went down yesterday.
Yeah, the other helpful thing for us was Michigan State. Mm-hmm. They went down, so that kind of helped us keep kind of where we're going to be.
No, but this time of the year right now, you got conference play and then interconference play and things like that with all the big teams. Every win is crucial. Every bad call is just even worse. So I mean, it's just going into playoffs next month is. You need everything you can get.
Hey, buddy. So how about Duke? Let's talk about them for a little bit.
Man.
Here's where I struggled. I dislike Duke and Louisville. So my best case scenario was a plane crashed into the Yum Center. That obviously didn't happen.
Right. Somebody pulled a fire alarm or something.
You're right. So I told Pastor Justin, I was like, I've got to be a purist, and I have to pull for Duke. Pull for Duke because I still hate Louisville so much. Yeah. But, man, that's going to be tough.
And that's coming a lot from a Kentucky fan to be able to rattle those, have that Duke form on the back of his lips and come over. Yeah. So, it was. So last night we played, I forgot who we played now.
University of Louisville.
And, man, I'm short-termers. And, we've been playing very bad the first half of every game. So, we were down quite a few points first of the half, and, I pretty much said, all right, no problem. We're going to, come out second half. We're going to be rolling. We'll be ready to roll. And, that didn't happen for the first 10 minutes. And we went 23 points down at one point.
Yeah.
And it was just brutal. And just disappointing because you see all these superstars out there, future NBA superstars. So anyway, all of a sudden something clicked. R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish and our Zion Williamson, our top three, man, and they just started raining baskets and defensive plays. And all of a sudden they go on a 32-10 run, I think is what it was, and just absolutely crushed it in the last 9-something minutes. And and there was a controversial call and replay, and of course, towards the end of the game, which
was
went
a charging call.
Yeah, which went our way, but it was a legitimate call.
Yeah, it was the right one. At least you could review yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, what an exciting night. I mean, of course, I was the only one celebrating because my wife, a Duke fan, also obviously not loyal, was up in bed already. So, but it was a good celebration, and because you never want to go down like that this late in the season like that. But it was exciting.
Yeah,
cardiac kids do it again.
You guys, I don't know if you realize it, but it was the worst blown lead in under 10 minutes ever in the history of basketball.
Yeah, 68 years.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, 68 years for Duke. Duke has never come back in the second half in 68 years. Coach K has never, ever come back in the second half being down 23 like that either.
Wow.
So, and, of course, I don't know about the national stats, which you just quoted. But.
Yeah, I think it was maybe like Virginia, like back in like the 40s or something like that. Right, it was a long time ago where there was ever one. But it was the biggest comeback ever, but then under 10 minutes it was ever in the history of the NCAA. So that was a huge comeback for you guys. That's crazy.
No,
you guys nailed it.
I mean, it just shows you, the caliber of Coach K is. I mean, he back in his younger years he'd been fired up, almost like Bobby Knight throwing a chair out.
Right.
But it just his composure and his experience and just kept his kids in the game. So just. A tremendous win to Coach K, and just as a fan, I'm still blown away from it. So.
And what again blows me away is the rule of 71 still is triumphant. If you guys aren't familiar, if the first team to hit 71 has a 93% chance of winning the entire game.
Right.
And so it still happened last night. On both of our games.
LSU, yep.
So it's crazy. That rule of 71, that's all I ask for is just hit 71 and we're okay. But it gives me a little bit
of chances are pretty high.
Yeah, it's insane. So if you're ever at a bar, you've got a 93% chance of the winning team to be whoever hit 71 first.
There you go.
So you can make a little bit of money that way.
I'm just hoping to hit age 71, so maybe I have a chance, 96% chance of living a few more years.
You're right. All right, so we're going to go into some wacky news. Again, we don't have any music for it, so We will do that. Wacky News is brought to you by Watchman Cigars. Hey, if you are in the market for a high-quality cigar at a reasonable price, check out Watchman Cigars at Watchman_cigars at yahoo.com. Again, you can contact Leon at Watchman_cigars at yahoo.com. All right, so, guys, this Wacky News, could you imagine going into, here's the headline, a Houston stoner breaks into an abandoned home to smoke pot. Okay, that's part of it. Yeah. And then he comes face to face with a 350-pound tiger. Wow. That was my tiger.
I just can't
there.
believe there was no reported missing tigers, were there?
A man who broke into an empty Texas home to smoke marijuana, the old left-handed cigarette, the old devil's lettuce, ended up coming face-to-face with a caged tiger. The 350-pound tiger was found in Houston. The anonymous tipster contacted the city's authorities to let them know about the unusual find. And he said that he thought that he was first hallucinating when he first saw the big cat. Could you imagine just being that guy?
Like I said, I go back to no one reported a missing tiger. Yeah.
Hey, guys.
At least you didn't think it was Tony Tiger.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that'll sober you up. Just wait. There's going to be there's these Facebook pages out there anti-marijuana, like the super Jesus sites. Like Jesus. Yeah. Just wait till they get a hold of this story. It's going to be one of those things like, see, smoking marijuana leads to visitations with tigers.
They said that the tiger was found in a rinky-dink cage in the garage that was not locked. It was only held together by a screwdriver and a nylon strap.
Oh, wow.
Hey, guys, I got to go out for a minute. I'm just going to put a screw in this thing, and I'm going to head out. Yo.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they track it down to the actual owner of this tiger.
Yeah, that's what I want in an abandoned house.
Yeah.
Like, did Mike Tyson have that bad of a bankruptcy that he's got to have an abandoned house and that's where he leaves the tiger?
Well, Mike Tyson admits that he did a lot of drugs, so you never know. I mean, he could have forgotten something.
They had to tranquilize the tiger in order to get him out, but 350 pounds. He is now in a sanctuary, so everything's all good with the tiger, but in an abandoned house. If you look at the pictures, this house doesn't even have a concrete driveway. Oh, wow. I think you got to have a concrete driveway before you even have a tiger. I mean, look at that. I mean, there ain't nothing in that house.
Shanty.
Yeah. I mean, and why are you breaking in to smoke weed? Like, y'all.
If I'm going to break into a house to smoke weed, I'm going to make sure it's like one of those foreclosed millionaire mansions. Yeah, that's where I'm going to do it at.
Hey, man, where'd you get this stuff, man? I couldn't even imagine. 350-pound tiger.
Yeah.
I mean,
big boy.
People will like put those signs in the yard, beware of dogs.
Right.
I mean, this guy went
above and
beyond.
At 350 pounds, I've heard no reports of malnourishment or neglected.
Yeah, he said he was in a good
obviously,
condition.
Somebody had been taking care of him, so probably feeding him stoner.
Where did he get a tiger? Oh, anyway.
Tigers are us.
Here's my next story. McDonald's, here's the headline, McDonald's French fries might hold a cure for baldness. I don't know if you saw this or not. McDonald's French fries may lead to a cure for baldness, not by eating them, but a Japanese national university used a chemical found in the fries to grow the hair follicles on mice. All right, so
don't rub McDonald's French fries on body parts that you don't want hair.
Here's my attempt on this one. The dimethylpolisoxane, that's what I'm going to, policioxane, that's what I'm going to say it, is a oxygen permeable solution that they put on naked mice, and then they grew hair. But if you look at the nutritional information found on McDonald's, it's also the anti-foaming agent in the oil used to fry foods such as French fries, McNuggets, and the fried fish sandwich. Mm-hmm. It's the same chemical. Mm-hmm. Remember when they found like the same chemical in yoga mats in the subway?
Yep. Well, I don't know what's more disturbing, that you can grow hair on mice that, or that McDonald's French fries have like 65 ingredients, which is it's just supposed to be potato. Right. I mean, so I don't know what's more disturbing. So maybe
if you're bald, you can go in and just order like frozen fries and just rub them on your head and see if that helps.
It rubs the fries on its skin.
Oh, my goodness. Did you have anything?
No, man. No.
All right. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have some hot topics. All that and more on this episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. We'll be right back. If you are in the market for a high-quality cigar for a very reasonable price, you must check out Watchman Cigars. Watchman Cigars is a family-owned business that puts the customer first with the best customer service in the business. Watchman Cigars offers the Habano for a full, spicy flavor, the Connecticut for a mild, easy-to-smoke option, and the Maduro for a strong, powerful experience. They even do specialty blends and partner with you to provide a custom exclusive line just for you. Watchman Cigars has all your cigar needs. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Watchman Cigars 1991 or email Leon directly at watchman_cigars@yahoo.com. That's watchman_cigars@yahoo.com, or check out the sponsors section of our website. All right, we are back. You're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. As I mentioned earlier, if you are in a band or have a band and want some free advertising and you want to do that bumper music for us, hey, just shoot us an email at sfpradio@gmail.com, and we'll be glad to have it on the show. All right, so we're going to go into some hot topics. Gentlemen, I'm going to bring up the word El Chapo to you, and you guys tell us kind of what's going on. Will you also introduce our guest?
Yeah, by the way, our guest sitting in tonight is Jeremy White. You may have heard that name before, and we had him on a podcast previously and thoroughly enjoyed our conversation and camaraderie.
Yes.
So we're like, hey, you know what? Let's have Jeremy back on because we have some topics we want to talk to him about with football and his recent trip to Atlanta, but he's agreed to sit in and spitball with us on these hot topics we call. So here we go.
So El Chapo, he has been arrested. He is going to what's called the Alcatraz of the Rockies. If you don't know, El Chapo Guzman was the kingpin of the Mexican Sinaloa cartel. Yep. I guess that's how you say it. Yep. And he has been locked up, and he's going to the Alcatraz of the Rockies. He's also known for breaking out of prison. He already broke out of one in a laundry bin in 2001, and then in 2014 he escaped through a mile-long lighted tunnel, making his way through the subterranean route on a motorcycle. This guy is like Shawshank and
tunnel rat.
Yeah, he's insane.
I wonder if he's going to be the newest member of the Mile High Club in jail.
Going to the Rockies. Oh, my. Goodness gracious. Send your emails to Mojo. I'm just kidding. Here's the thing. This Supermax prison he's going to also has Ramiz Youssef. He's the mastermind of the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center. I don't need Dakars Dishaniv, I don't know, Boston Marathon bomber.
Wow.
The airline shoe bomber Richard Reed. The Unabomber Ted Kaczynski.
Yep.
Is that right? I was getting John Krasinski in that guy.
You're horrible with Arabic names and Polish names. So
I can't do nothing. The guy, and this guy is essentially in the Arkham Institute of the criminally insane.
That's a great analogy.
Right?
Yes.
I feel like I need Batman just to feel safe.
Or the Hall of Fame of criminals.
Yeah. I mean, it's rough.
Wild.
I don't know. You think he's going to get out of this thing?
Get out of that one? No.
You don't think so?
I don't. It's different tunneling through a Mexican desert to build a tunnel. You got to go through granite and whatever else. I mean, I think he's got the money stashed away to pay people to do it, but I doubt he can. I doubt he can do that with what's going on there.
And good gracious. I heard today, and if it's your listeners can fact check me if I'm wrong. I think he's going to be in solitary, right?
Yeah,
23 hours,
yeah,
and then 1 hour out.
Yep.
But you know what though? This coming up on Valentine's here tomorrow. I'm still hopeful that he can find love like Aaron Hernandez did.
Oh no!
You know what? If he skins people alive and boils people, then he deserves all the love he can get.
He's also going to be going into this Supermax with Hector El Guro Panama Salazar, one of the
what's his claim to fame?
He's one of the also cartel's founders. Also, the founder of the Tijuana cartel and the founder of the Gulf cartel.
Good Lord.
I don't think that these guys are going to get along very well.
No, maybe they'll all just,
They'll probably play bridge or, crosswords together or something.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe they're just like, screw it, we're in jail.
Well, obviously, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but obviously I probably do not to be aspire to be a cartel member or at least founder.
Yeah. Those usually don't turn out well.
Yeah, no doubt.
money is good for a while, but the retirement is it's not up to snuff.
I wonder with the retirement plan. I wonder if they hand them brochures of this Colorado Supermax prison.
Oh, that'd be
it's like enjoy your life for 20 years, but
yep.
This is part of the contract.
I wonder if they roll it out like The Price is Right, when they do the vacation thing, and you get a 7-day all-inclusive.
For the rest of your life.
23 hours.
You ever wanted to read? Now's the chance.
Oh, no, I don't know how to read. You're in hell.
You can make chess pieces out of soap.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so the other topic is their new trailer for Aladdin came out. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
I've not seen it.
I've seen it.
And Will Smith is at the center of it as the genie.
Oh, boy. You're a Will Smith fan.
You know that I am madly in love with Will Smith.
Right.
I would probably switch teams for Will Smith.
There you go.
But
fair.
To be completely honest, and I love everything that he does, but this one, y'all...
creeped you out?
It creeped me out.
Why is that? Explain that.
One, you think the genie, automatically I'm thinking Robin Williams, so there's that. But he's like the genie in Fresh Prince, the Fresh Prince trying to do the genie. Like it just creeps me out. And he's blue like a Smurf. That kind of freaks me out too. Yeah. The CGI doesn't look that great.
It doesn't. And I'm hoping it's just because maybe it's a trailer.
Yeah, that's the only hope.
They haven't brushed it over and done it right. Because Aquaman really bugged me with that. That the CGI was so... and for
you could tell.
2 hours. It's like, oh, God, it was a terrible movie. Right. Jason Momoa, though. I would switch teams for him. So,
okay,
but Will Smith, I thought the same. I watched the trailer at first, and I was like, "Wow,
here we go,
be great," And I hope they get. What's the guy who did Iago's voice? I forgot.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah, I hope that he's in. I haven't checked the
I don't
credits.
know. Yeah,
hope they got him. But when I saw him, and I'm hoping. The thing with Will Smith is, unless he's playing like that Ali role. He's playing Will Smith,
right?
That's
true.
And I just
true.
and I was like, when I heard he was going to be Genie, I'm thinking, okay, I get it. There's probably I'm not thinking of anybody else who could really personify this because he's silly and he's got the jokes and the metaphors and whatever he wants to do.
Right.
But it's so hard to replace Robin Williams, right? And I know that's not with the pressure he's putting on himself, but at the same time, I'm really worried that it's not going to be Genie. It's just going to be Will Smith.
So,
it kind of disappoints me. But the CGI didn't make it that much better. And I'm a Disney real life version, like the real life version of movies.
Those are interesting.
I'm an apologist for that. I will support. I love those. I love the nostalgia. But I thought about that today. I was like, oh man.
I think those real life Disney movies are interesting. I haven't seen the trailer for Aladdin, but I did see the one for Lion King, and that looks amazing. Yeah. And I have to admit, I've never even seen the original Lion King. So, but who would?
Whoa! I'm not letting you get away with that.
Stop the tape. Here we go. We're going to watch it right now.
Yeah. Wait a second. Oh, hold on. I just want to be clear for your listeners.
Right.
Okay. The interviewee has become the interviewer.
I'm just going to take a nap here.
Well,
you have no. Understand. I a lot of some of my black friends have taken my black card because I haven't seen the quote unquote black movies. Like I haven't seen New Jack City. I haven't seen White Man Can't Jump. Like some of these other things, right? That people are like, you haven't seen those? And then my man card is being taken too because I haven't seen any of the Rockies.
Oh,
I haven't seen. It took me until maybe 6-7 years ago to see Shawshank.
Oh.
My dad didn't let us see rated R movies when I was younger.
Yeah,
like, but that doesn't,
I'll give you that.
But you're an adult now. You can go back and watch the movies. I'm like, I get it. Like, I haven't seen Harlem Nights. So
Coming to America. Have you seen that?
You know what? I have.
I have,
but it took me a while.
Right.
It took me a while. So I'm not saying this in a judgmental way, but how in the heck did you not see The Lion King by now?
You've got two girls.
That in itself.
Come on.
Well, at first, I missed the first incarnation of it just because I grew up in a staunchly religious household, and there was this whole thing where, these traveling pastors would come and preach, like, you play your records backwards, and,
Remember, though, that was the same time where there was sexual innuendos in the Disney movies.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you that.
Fair. Okay.
I think there was one, they came and showed, like, well, this is Little Mermaid. It says...
It's got a
topless
the phallic symbol in there.
Topless girls eat free at Shoney's on Wednesdays. That's what it says in the movie. And I'm like, I don't see that. But, anyway,
in the Aladdin movie, he did I turned up the VHS one, and it was exactly what it said.
Yeah,
I won't repeat that.
Oh yeah, we won't.
So that was the
Lion
reason
King,
why.
It did say sex.
It did.
And it just had so many implications. You look at Nala's wonderfully perfect eyes, and you're like, whoa, something's about to happen.
Yeah, so there's conspiracy things with Disney.
I'll give you that
I grew up in that age where those movies were like taboo.
That's fair. So I did the same thing with Harry Potter. Like, I didn't watch any of the Harry Potter movies because of that.
Yeah. Couldn't even read the books either.
But to be honest with you, the excuse I have for my kids, I don't have one. I mean, but I also don't think my kids have even seen those movies yet.
Yeah.
Some of them, I don't think they've seen Lion King. My oldest has seen Lion King.
Some of my students, they were like, "Oh, so you've watched the classics?" I'm like, "It's a classic."
I'm so old.
But no, okay, that's a viable answer.
All right.
I accept that.
Thank you.
Please change it soon. Maybe not this year.
All right, you're
I will go home and have a Disney cartoon marathon. So.
There you go.
So my friend from going back to Aladdin, my friend Sketch, the journalist from Houston, give him a shout out. He has coined the phrase Will-Aladdin. So I like that. I think that's going to stay. So Will-Aladdin.
So who would make a better Aladdin in this movie?
That's a good question.
Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart?
You know what? What's all the smoke about with the genie? Because Chappelle might be able to make that happen. Maybe that would be better.
Snoop Dogg.
Hey, boss. What you want your 3 wishes to be?
I think, then you could go classy like Idris Elba. Would be great.
That could work.
But imagine Dave Chappelle with his homeless guy, the crack.
Oh my gosh! What was that guy's name? Ashy Larry.
So
was it Ashy Larry? It's like, I thought you were supposed to be blue. Why are you chalk white?
You got any of them rocks over there? Yeah.
God.
But no, I think those two would have probably been a better candidate. But
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
No doubt.
I'll watch it just to see.
I will too. I just hope they get the music right, because the recreations of the music, you keep waiting for it to kind of be as assertive as it was when you were a kid in the old ones, and they all kind of fall short, except the Jungle Book, when he did I Want to Be Like You, I Want to Walk Like You, Talk like, who's the guy? He's like played all the creepy roles in movies and stuff, but he did a great job. But anyway, Will-Aladdin.
So thanks a lot, Sketch.
Is the real life Jasmine hot as you would imagine the cartoon version?
Seriously, we're going to bring this up.
I'm sorry.
No, and it's disappointing.
Really?
And I will be the first one to say that.
All right, everybody in the room, also listening and driving, whatever. If you're a guy, how many of you, raise your hands, you thought Jasmine was hot? Raise your hands.
Oh yeah.
She was probably the most attractive Disney princess.
That's the reason why I make my girls wear T-shirts under their Jasmine costume.
Because what is it, when Kim Kardashian finally did the Halloween costume, you're like, that's exactly how Jasmine would look, and that's entirely inappropriate.
Yeah.
It's oh man, she made Jasmine great again.
We should get a hat for that. All right, so moving on, there is an article, and I'll have this on the show notes. It's called Neat and Sweet, Bourbon and Girl Scout Cookies. So if you'll remember, about this time last year, we had a bracket of Girl Scout cookies. I went back and listened to it. It's episode 60. If you're interested, you want to listen to it. The final game was the tag-alongs, which is the chocolate, and then they have the peanut butter inside of them, and then the Thin Mint cookies. The winner of that was the Thin Mint cookies, which I still will hold true today that is the winner of the Girl Scout cookies. What, Jeremy, you have a puzzled look on your face. What do you say the all-time best Girl Scout cookie is?
Oh, man. It's anything. Oh, gosh. Those are the peanut butter ones.
The tag-alongs.
Yes.
Was that it?
I love those.
The chocolate ones on the outside or just the cookie part?
Just the cookie part.
Okay, then that's the do-si-do.
Okay, that one.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, I lived in Japan for 5 years, so my Girl Scout cookie knowledge of specific names is a little...
Okay.
But the Thin Mints, I've just never... it's like it's chocolate, but it's mint, and
Not a fan.
I'm not a fan.
That's okay.
But
That's
I
all right.
like them. Does that make sense? I
Yeah.
don't think they should go together. It's like the Oreo mint cookies. They're delicious.
Right.
But I still think they're an abomination. So it's just I don't know. I don't know how to.
It's kind of like Will
reconcile.
Aladdin.
Yes,
yeah.
it's
There
like
you go.
I just don't know how to reconcile my life with that. But
Yeah.
But I've discovered if you actually take 2 Thin Mints and put a thin layer of peanut butter.
Oh, buddy. So that's the trick.
okay, I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah. But I'll eat a whole box of Thin Mints once.
Yeah, not even a question. Yeah. But this article is pairing Girl Scout cookies, and my other second favorite thing is bourbon.
Right.
And these guys aren't just throwing stuff together. They do hardcore research on which one is the best bourbon. And
where can we get this job?
Like on your palate, like for your palate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like they pair them just like a beer or a wine or anything else like that.
We should do our own low end version. Like which cookie does natural light beer pair up with?
Oh yeah, there you go. We could try that one. So I'm gonna give you some rundowns.
I'm telling you guys got to start patenting this stuff because between the Chick-fil-A cigars, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm seriously.
Chick-fil-A bong.
That's just saying. Just write the idea down, mail
Patent
it to
it.
yourself.
You're right.
Then you got it. Then you got it going.
We'll use Paula Yost and get trademarked, and then
There you
go from there. But here are some of the options that they have, and then later on the show we are going to have the Thin Mint and the one that pairs with. So this one, the Samoas. You guys like the Samoas?
Is that the coconut
That's
one?
the coconut one with the chocolate drizzle.
Right.
They're going to pair that with what's the Rhetoric. It's a 21-year-old straight bourbon, come from Orphan Barrel Whiskey Distilling Company. 21 years. Now, just so you guys know, that's
It's
a
legal.
long time.
It's a legal bourbon. It can literally
It
drink.
can vote. Yeah. It can drink itself. It's going to be really oaky. It's going to have like some really sharp tastes.
Right.
And so what they're saying here is that the oakiness and the smoky vanilla pairs really good with the chocolate finish and the caramel that's on it. So there's that. So that's an example of one that they had. The lemonades, I'm not a big fan of the lemonades.
They're kind of refreshing, though, in the summer.
Vanilla inflected convection with a lemony frosting on one side. It's pairing with the Lexington Bourbon Whiskey from the Western Spirits. That one's also it's a medium body bourbon. Not a whole lot on the palate, but it pairs really well with the lemony taste of the cookie.
So it doesn't overwhelm.
Yeah, you're right. Your favorite?
This is amazing.
Yeah, right.
I'm literally blown away. Like, you know how you're listening to a subject matter that there's been people who spent decades perfecting and knowing, and you know nothing about it.
Yeah.
That's where my head is right now. I'm like, this is wild.
Wow.
Your do-si-dos, those are the peanut butters. It's going to pair with the Old Forester 1920 Prohibition style.
Wow.
The 115 proof Old Forester is young and feisty with toasted nut notes and a creamy finish. Hold your jokes. With the balance. And that pairs with the peanut butter sandwich to refreshen the palate. So, hey, buddy, I don't know. I kind of want to try every one of these. The Girl Scout cookies, you guys have those before? I had those for the first time last year. They pair with the Noah's Mill bourbon from the Willett Distillery. The s'more is chocolate, graham cracker, and marshmallow, and the toasty notes from the bourbon pairs really well with a creamy finish. So,
like a campfire in your mouth.
yeah, really, that's kind of it. And then... One of my favorite bourbons that I've really been digging lately is Eagle Rare. You've had the Eagle Rare before?
I have not.
You have not. It's going to pair with the Thanks a Lot cookie. That's like the little shortbread cookie. And they say that it's the Eagle Rare has the pedigree and ambition without being intimidating, the sweetness without being clingy, the youth with the benefit of maturity.
Okay, hold on. Question.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking from a journalistic standpoint now. Who wrote this?
No doubt.
There is a gentleman. The article is by Bob Edison.
He's already got my vote. His last name's Edison. We're good. Okay.
He also is noting, like, he notes country ham in the article. So I know that he's for real legit. And by the way, the first one, the Rhetoric, the 21-year-old one, that's a hard to find bourbon. So it's not just he's just picking stuff off the shelf.
Right.
I think that they've done some legitimate work. So the last two that I'll bring is the peanut butter patties. Those are the tagalongs. Again, the chocolate.
I do like those.
That's going to pair with a Woodford Reserve Double Oak. So double oak means that they put it in the barrel, they let it sit for a while, then they take it out and put it in another barrel, brand new barrel. So it gives a really, really oaky, deep finish. And that is going to pair with the peanut butter and really going to make it a velvety, smooth warmth is what they say.
Goodness.
So
I'm just blown away by the adjectives.
Great,
That's where I'm focused.
great sizzle words.
Yeah, how about it? And then the last one is going to be the Thin Mints that we talked about before, with Basil Hayden's. And that one's out of Jim Beam. Basil is my wife's favorite bourbon.
Okay.
Is very smooth, very mellow, very, like, I tell people that's, if you're going to start off with bourbon, that's a really good one to start out with. It's not going to punch you in your face.
It's not
like the
overwhelming.
21.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And so that's going to pair really nice with a Thin Mint cookie. So I think it'll just be refreshing all around. So
Let's do this.
We're going to do this?
Just do it.
All right. Okay, so here we go.
Wow. Good Lord. I've learned so much in the past 8 minutes.
I wonder if there's going to be an article from High Times. Which Kush pairs up with these Girl Scout cookies?
One day. It's coming.
There you go.
It's absolutely coming.
I wonder what Chick-fil-A dipping sauces will pair up with.
With which cigars?
It's Chick-fil-A sauce across the board.
So tell me when, Mojo. I'm going to pour, and you tell me when.
I'm good.
We got plenty.
I'll take a little less than that.
You're going to take a little less. All right.
Brown liquor.
There you go. And if you need to water it down, I can get you some water in there.
That should be all right.
And the rest of this is for me, so that's great. I'll just pour that in there.
12 fingers there.
Oh, wow.
You know,
That's
my wife said,
looks like apple juice.
Stop taking my basil. And I was like, well, I'm going to drink it. So, and then we've got the Girl Scout cookies. Hey, if you want to buy some Girl Scout cookies, our dealer is Daniel Charlton. I'm going to put his information on the show notes, so you can go out to the website and you can try it there. You can order them from him
I'm sure
directly.
he'll ship.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh,
So
I'm already smelling it. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's do this.
you don't have to.
No, I'm
just
doing
saying.
it.
All
I
right.
am doing.
All right.
Do you know where I am?
Look,
I'm at
you know
Southern
what?
Fried Philosophy. Do you think I'm passing up a chance to do this with you
Look,
guys?
he
Absolutely.
called out my not seeing the Aladdin or movie.
Yes.
So I'm gonna call him out. He's gonna do this.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Peer pressure.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to get my man card back.
All right. So basil, if we do you want to taste the basil and see how that?
Sure,
That,
sure.
And
all
does
right,
that
so-
sit up?
Yeah. We've got some oak to it. It's not. Oh, you're like taken back.
I'm telling you. I'm telling y'all.
So remember that man card that you got taken away from you? I'm also going to take it away from
Okay.
you.
No, he gets his man card back. He's drinking.
No. I'm seriously. I'm a clear liquor guy.
Okay. All right.
And it's just this is great. I'm excited. It's glad to be here. Okay.
I'm also getting honey on the back end. I don't know if you guys taste. What do you taste? What do you got?
A little bit of leather.
You really? Okay.
Like that new car leather.
Wow.
How often are you licking new cars? That's my question.
Well, I usually I can't. I can't afford a new car, but
Okay.
I will go test drive one just to
You
get
just
it out of my
start licking
system.
them.
Yeah. When the guy goes to talk to his sales manager, I just start licking.
How about you? Remind me not to go car shopping with you.
The seat's wet, sir. What happened?
I can't with you.
So,
okay.
yeah, I think it's so smooth. I think
It's very smooth.
I know smooth is overrated. Like people say smooth all the time, but I think it really is probably one of them.
No,
of the smoothest.
it's for a sipping bourbon.
You said that's basil?
Basil Hayden's. Yep.
Obviously, these bourbons aren't ones you'd go to the old TGI Fridays and be like, I want a basils and Coke.
Yeah, you don't.
These are not mixable. That's a
great point.
These are straight bourbons or something you'd have a little bit of water, maybe 1 cube of ice. It's just, these are sitting around with your buddies sipping bourbon.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's pair it with the Thin Mint. So we'll try Thin Mint.
And for our ASMR listeners,
What do you think?
It balances it out. It in a way of since my man card was gone before this,
you can get it back.
It's it's not a strong bourbon. Mm-hmm. It is smooth, like you said. Mm-hmm. The initial taste is there. The aftertaste is there, and then the mints it doesn't take away what you just got from the bourbon. Yeah. It adds to it, but lessens it. It spreads it a bit more, so it's not as big of a to a person of my caliber who does not drink bourbon. It's not as big of a punch. It makes it a little bit easier to I kind of now want to put this in the Thin Mint into a blender and put the bourbon in there and just kind of make a Thin Mint Basil Hayden
bourbon slushy
mix.
There you go.
I like
something like that.
Let's write that one down and mail it to us.
Yeah, do that.
It does. The sweetness of it kind of mellows it out, chills it out.
Interesting.
But you still have that refreshing finish at the end of it, just like with the Thin Mint.
Yeah.
So, done, sir.
I actually kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah. We're eating the rest of yours.
Chewing in the microphone.
Well, there's some people into that. That's one of the largest growing podcast listenerships or segments or categories is ASMR.
Oh.
All right. We're gonna bring that up.
Oh.
Y'all.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know who Cardi B is. You're not familiar with Cardi B.
Well, I know of the name, but I couldn't tell you between Cardi B and a cardiac arrest.
I tell you what, if you saw either one of them, you would know the difference.
Oh,
how about you?
Oh,
you know Nicki Minaj.
I do. I know there's a rear end, but there's some person attached.
Yeah, that's fair.
Send your emails.
That's fair. Yeah, no, they shouldn't. They shouldn't send their emails because that's how she markets herself. When you ask to be marketed that way, people are going to recognize certain assets of you if you asked to be marketed that way. Mm-hmm. But she basically pushed Nicki Minaj off of her pedestal. Nicki Minaj has been owning that segment.
Another one. You guys can talk
for a while, and. Now, last year, they had a whole beef, quote unquote. It wasn't. I think it was a PR stunt, but I think Nicki got in her feelings because Cardi won Rap Album of the Year 2 nights ago.
That was the first female. I did see that on one of the news things. It was a first female something. It was no,
I didn't know that.
It was some type of accomplishment. I think it was first female rap album. I believe
she basically she put in the work. She hustled. She got big off of Love and Hip Hop, and the reason I think she got big off of Love and Hip Hop, the show from VH1, is because she was the only person on the show who didn't have anything negative to say about other people. She was that fun-loving person who didn't, the producers didn't ask her to go at it with anybody. So then she kind of disappeared for a while, and everybody knew she was doing music. But the funny thing is everybody on the show was trying to do music, and at one point in time they seemed to be bigger than her, but she just put in the work. And I enjoy her music, but there's a lot of people who are and she's not my first go-to. But
I take this back. I think I did hear something about Cardi B, or it could be another rapper named Black China. I think is another one.
That's
there is a Black China.
There's Black China is
I thought
Rob
she
Kardashian's baby mama.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure it's Cardi.
That's China, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
so there's
China.
A different
yes,
one.
Yes.
I think it was Cardi B doing if I'm not mistaken, did some type of social media post talking about how crappy taxes are. I think I do remember she spoke out about tax brackets and something like that. So I did see that.
Funny how that didn't get any news coverage.
Yeah, you're saying Cardi B talked about?
I'm sure she did.
Yeah, taxation is theft.
I'm sure she did after all that money she made.
I'm pretty confident.
Last year.
I feel like I could have a conversation with Cardi B and I would learn more from her brick wall. I'm just being honest. I feel like I would talk to her and get dumber as I was speaking with her. I can't understand her. She don't make sense. She's got that New Jersey accent, which also just throws me for a loop because I don't know what's going on out of that mouth. And then it's like just stupid talk. Anyway. So my wife started.
She knows she's playing a character,
she's got to be. Yeah. She has to be, and she's a former adult entertainer. Mm-hmm. Plays that up. My wife started doing that okirk thing, and that drives me up the wall.
So what is the okirk thing?
She makes like little words.
These sounds. Oh, you know what? I think now that I'm thinking about it,
yeah.
And there's probably people listening that are like, "Duh, Jeremy, didn't you think about that before?" Or maybe not, because the Migos made that popular with like these just little sounds that they throw into songs that they came up with. And I think because she used to be married to somebody from the Migos and they split up. Apparently they're back together. I think she knew the importance of being able to throw that in, so she started making her own sounds. But the funny thing is she was doing it back before she started doing records. Back in Love and Hip Hop like 10 years ago. She would just be talking and like meow, like stuff like that. Like there was just, I think she knew she knew how to play up a character. I don't think she's like that in real life.
So 10 years ago, we used to call that Tourette's.
Fair point. All right, what do y'all want to talk about next? That's a fair point. I can't say anything.
And mic drop. So there's that. Yeah, she just annoys me. Like anyway.
I can honestly say I know of her now.
Yeah.
Like I'm placing 2 and 2, but I couldn't tell you if she sang, or rapped a song or whatever.
It's a lot of earworm sort of songs.
Gotcha.
It's just
I'm sure my 15-year-old probably knows everything.
It was messed up because the school I taught at, a lot of the one of the pre-K parents came and was like, I was like, yeah, something Cardi B came on and I changed it, and she goes, no, he loves Cardi B. Like we play Cardi B. I'm like, really? It's like that's not appropriate, but okay, you parent however you want to parent.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so because you have secondhand embarrassment, I'm just going to play you 1 minute of all of her noises. So.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Turn things like something some malone. Just like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Meh. Oh.
Yeah, this is what your daughter's listening to.
But it's gonna be.
No, I'm making you watch all 1 minute of it. I'm turning this off.
Oh, yeah, her smack.
I want to apologize to our audience. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness.
Yep. That's the future of America, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh gosh. I want to go back to Samuel L. Jackson's tweet. If we paid teachers like we pay mumble rappers, maybe we wouldn't be listening to dumb crap.
You're right.
Okay.
I really don't even know. I really don't even know what to say to that.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
just let it marinate. Just let it marinate.
All I gotta say
I'm just going to drink this bourbon. I'm just going to just do this.
All I gotta say is.
I like it.
All right, so we're going to take a break for that. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk with Jeremy White, the son of former Hall of Famer Reggie White, the son of Sarah White. So he's going to talk about his Super Bowl experience. He was there a couple weeks ago, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Hey guys, it's me, Bigging. Summer is made for grilling and chilling, and you too can be the baddest mother smoker on the block using our favorite award-winning smoking sauce. Bad Mother Smokers is perfect match for that favorite meat, veggies, or even that secret ingredient in a pot of chili. Check out badmothersmokers.com to place your order, and if you want to be a barbecue pitmaster like Mojo, enter the promo code MOJO for 10% off your order. Visit badmothersmokers.com or the sponsor section of our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com.
Welcome back. We have Buzz Jeremy White with us. we sampled all the bourbons and Girl Scout cookies while we took a little break here. But anyway, Jeremy White's here with us, and we're just going to cover some various topics and who knows what else. This could be a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast. So, anyway, but Jeremy,
Rogan.
Yeah, Jeremy. So we saw that you went to Atlanta,
yes,
Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
So tell us about that experience, man.
Okay.
What were you down there for?
Sure. So I drove down there after. I don't know. I don't ever want to take a road trip again because I went to go see a buddy of mine the week before who lives in Perrysburg, Ohio. Exactly. Where? Like, what is that? But it's right outside Toledo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about.
Scratch that.
Okay, where were you going to?
I was going to say close to Kentucky, but I don't think
no, I think it's closer to Michigan.
Toledo's an armpit near Michigan. Yeah.
And so it was 8.5 hours each way. I left on a Thursday. I came back on a Sunday. I left for Atlanta on a Tuesday.
Wow.
And then came back from Atlanta on that Friday. So I was like, I'm done with driving.
Right.
Like, forget driving. And the police were, the first thing about getting down to Atlanta, the police were policing 85 like I've never seen. Like there were not checkpoints, but there was like radar guns. And then after you slowed down and then you thought that was it, there was another two cops. So they were ready for that Super Bowl trip.
Revenue generator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Well, the good thing is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will have light rail or trains before long. You can just hop on a train and be there.
You ain't got to fly.
No, right, because who needs to fly?
That's right.
Trans-Pacific? Nobody needs to fly Trans-Pacific.
Powered by cow farts.
That's right.
Except Hawaii. Did you see that? They're like the representative from Hawaii is like, well, that ain't going to work for us.
Well, I just found out from Cory Booker, one of our 2020 presidential candidates, that meat and cheese we're going to work towards getting off meat and cheese. Doesn't he want to be vegan? Yeah, he wants everybody to be vegan, right? Yeah.
What are we supposed to do with meat and cheese?
He wants to get rid of it.
I guess we're going to slaughter millions of head of cattle instead of eating them in a tasty burger. We're going to be.
He does not want beef anymore
because of the gas.
Yeah, the flatulence. Yeah, cow flatulence.
Yo,
well, he needs to go to Japan. They have the best beef in the world.
Yeah,
and they are the most green friendly country that I've
I
will not speak on topics I'm not completely educated, but this bourbon was excellent.
I will not speak on topics I'm not educated, but on the surface they sound moronic.
That's true.
Yes.
So Super Bowl.
Back to Atlanta.
Okay, no, but oh gosh, hey, look, you got to call people out. People need to be calling them. Yes, no pun intended. Okay, so Atlanta, I went down there. I was expecting there to actually be more traffic. There wasn't a whole lot of traffic.
You only sat in traffic for 2 hours,
right,
opposed to 4.
Actually, it is interesting because 77 was like worse than what I experienced in Atlanta during Super Bowl.
Wow.
Week. Like it was.
No, that's crazy.
Like,
no.
what
that's
in
insane.
The world? Because, and I don't know if it's. I was staying in Buckhead, and I wasn't too far. I was at the Georgia Congress Center is where Radio Row was. So we were down there because it had been. It had been that bourbon coming back up. It had been 14 years since my dad passed away, and me and my mom and my sister got together, and we were like, look, what are we doing with this stuff? We're talking about jerseys, we're talking about awards, we're talking about awards that are statues, awards that are plaques, awards that are, we had his laundry bag that he used, like his team laundry bag. We still had that. We had some game-worn gloves. We had game-worn shoes, like a bunch of game balls. And it's like there's only so many family members we would say, here, have this, cherish it. We know you'll hold on to it. Very few and far between. Yeah. So we have a lot of that stuff. A lot of stuff was with my mom, a few of it was with me, and then my sister. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, not to be sentimental, but it's like, how many pictures of my dad do I want up around my own house? It's like, how many awards and reminders do I want around my own house? Because if I don't want that many, then what am I doing with the rest of it? It's not like I'm going to have this shrine
Right.
to my own father because
But also, your dad being the religious man would not probably want that symbol of idolatry.
Yes.
Also,
There was a, we may need to do a whole nother podcast of talking about his spiritual change and what that meant, because that came into play a lot when he was very literally reading it as any sort of structure that represented man or animal or anything. He didn't necessarily, he kind of went back and forth with himself on whether he was going to keep some of those awards that were in certain images. Yeah, right. So he won, obviously, Super Bowl ring, NFC Championship ring, his ring that says Dad that he got. My mom got him. Some of these are never going to be. Sure. We're never going to put these up. But so my mother finally found someone, it's called Hunt Auctions, where she trusted them. And I was glad she took the time to kind of do her research, build relationships, and figure that out, because I remember when David and Jeremy came down to our house and got all this stuff. The moment the van drove away, for 2 seconds, I thought to myself, what if this is all an elaborate ruse? Like,
OJ.
What if they aren't, like, they put on this whole pomp and circumstance, and all this stuff, and they aren't who they say they are, which of course there was no logical reason to think that. But for a couple seconds, because my dad's Pro Bowl jerseys were with them, his Mackey Awards, his Defensive Player of the Year Award, some of the All Madden Awards are in there. Like, there's some valuable stuff in there, and that meant a lot through his playing career. I believe even if he was alive today, it still wouldn't mean as much to him as we have a 400-year-old, I guess now 420-year-old, because we got it in 2000. We have a 400-year-old lambskin Torah scroll.
Oh, wow.
That he got. Wow. And when he was able to go into, he actually went into the vault and got to see the original Torah scrolls like a year before he passed away. Or was it a year? Or the October of the year. Regardless, it was very soon before he passed away, and he said that experience meant more to him than the Super Bowl. Wow. So his spirituality had, turned.
It's amazing how a man of that great stature and a profession, being football or sports or something like that, equating something on the spiritual level, the unknown, something we can't see, on something that we've done tangibly.
Right.
That's amazing. I mean,
and it was just So I know, like, the Torah scrolls, like his prayer shawl that he had, like things like that. Retired jerseys, cool. Mackey Awards, awesome. And the thing was, going back, so we decided to auction this stuff, and we picked and choose. So I kept like a game ball that was from '86 because I was born in '86. My sister kept a game ball from '88, but she was on the whole train of, no, if somebody else can cherish it and keep it, like every single, like if it's in one house and it's just one thing, but we know that they'll continue with Dad's legacy and like always talk about him and his memory will live on. We'd rather that be in the hands of people who are absolutely going to appreciate it. Not that we wouldn't, but I'm just, he was Dad at the end of the day, right? So we had, we got together with them, and I went to Radio Row to promote it. And it was, and I loved working with Hunt Auctions because they, when we're going through the stuff, and I was like, hey, you think this would sell? Like, would this be good to put up? Would that be good to put up? He was so professional. And he goes, no, you need to keep that. And because the last thing, he's like, we want to portray your family in the best light. And he goes, even though you and I know you guys aren't doing this for any sort of devious, underhanded, or necessarily even monetary reasons, we want to portray your family in the best light. So I remember I had we had some stuff that was from other teams that were given to him after he passed, and I was like, this was made out to him, and he goes, no, we don't want it to look like you guys are. And I was like, I didn't think about that, but I just had these things, right? Because we had his original contracts. And the guy was floored. He goes, your dad actually signed his own version of the contract? He's like, he goes, players don't sign their own contracts and keep them. They sign them, they go to the team, and then whatever. They don't actually. But we had 4 of his original
Oh, wow.
Philadelphia contracts.
Wow.
And that's all the credit to Sarah White. She keeps everything. And that's why me and my sister were like, we have to do something with this. We can't just keep it in the lockbox. Like, it can't just be here. So that was interesting because there were just, when I look back and I thought about it, we had a couple jerseys that were the 75th anniversary jerseys of the home and away for the Packers, and it was in their throwback uniforms.
Oh, cool.
Game worn, everything. And I remember finding it. I go, oh, wow, I forgot we had this. And I texted my sister. I go, should we keep these? And she literally texted me. She goes, Jeremy, what are you going to do with it?
Sure.
And I was like, I mean, I don't know, probably fold it up and put it in my closet and, just leave it there just to have it. She goes, no, just take it, and show them that. But we did keep things so when Slamboree in Charlotte, when he went against McMichael, and there was that big thing in '97. I sat ringside with Ric Flair's son. It was the most fun I ever had.
You remember that story that he talked about Ric Flair's wife?
Yes,
So watch out.
His wrestling boots from that, we still have those, right?
Cool.
And so David was like, you got any other things? I'm grabbing random stuff, and I go, these are his wrestling boots. He goes, keep those. He's like, that's on a different level for you, personally.
Yeah.
He goes, keep those. So it was really nice working with them because they did a really good job because it wasn't just my dad's stuff. My dad was the feature point in what they were doing. They had stuff from Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Donald and J.J. Watt, and they Brian Dawkins had a whole collection in there, and they do baseball. They do everything. They're very, very credible, and it was great. So I went to Radio Row.
Well, let me stop for a second. I think it's. I know you're not trying to parcel out your father, with this memorabilia. I think it's kind of awesome. And, and here's the reason why is because Reggie White, the persona was just larger than life. I mean, I'm growing up as a kid, you looked up to him, and then all of a sudden, everyone has their favorite player they latch on to, and are players, and then you also. As a kid, you look at their lives. You start to look at, okay, who's this person? Well, you have, the QB from Chicago Bears. He's a partier. He's a great one-year quarterback who sucks. You have this guy who is a cokehead and who's up on charges for domestic abuse, and then this guy, and all of a sudden you have Reggie White. You're like, oh, he's a father and a pastor and a man of God, and then so. Letting go of these items, I think, will allow fans to not only cherish the items because these are wow, this is Reggie White, but also I think they will give them an opportunity to further his testimony and even dig down a little further to the man because people that I find interesting, I'm a big fan of Duke basketball, Coach K, and the more I find out about Coach K, and not only is he this great men's coach, but he's actually a great human being. I mean. The people that, in my mind, people that you'll never find scandals about are Billy Graham, Jesus, and Coach K. So you'll never have scandals.
Careful.
But no, I appreciate you guys sharing that with the world. I mean, I know it's tough to let go of those things because they have your father's DNA on them. But man, what an awesome. That's better than any Bible tract that you can leave on the back of a toilet. I mean, like some Southern Baptist guys will do.
Like that.
Yeah, but
that's true.
These people are going to dig down and look into it.
And that's what kept coming up, right? Because I was a small percentage of me was worried about the optics, right? But at the same time, I knew why we were doing it, and then and to add. We gave part of the proceeds are going to the Pat Tillman Foundation and the Wounded Warriors Project. Right. So which is
another amazing story, also.
Yes. So it was nice because we had his original UT jersey. We had his Memphis Showboats jersey. We had, I think, every single Pro Bowl jersey except his 98 one. I had claimed that from the get-go. I'm like, I am keeping this jersey. Sure. I kept his retired jerseys and stuff, but this is actually an interesting story. There was only one item that I had second-guessed myself on, and it wasn't until I started hearing stories from some of the people on Radio Row about what kind of man it took to be able to receive that award. and it was the Bart Starr Award, and he was the fourth person to receive it, and this was in '92. I think the people who came before him were Singletary, Munoz, Anthony Munoz, the offensive tackle for the Bengals, and then one other person. But that award went to, it was a player-voted award for the best father, the best teammate, the best, all-around man. Kind of like the Walter Payton Award is. Exactly. And I think Calais Campbell got it this year. But that was the only one where I texted my sister and I go, like, oh my goodness. And she goes, let somebody else be able to cherish because they know what that award is. And the more I thought about it, it's like, oh, yep. And it's not like the history books are going to get erased. Right. It's just a representation of what it was. But it was interesting because I talked to a man by the name of Roman Gabriel. And he didn't know I was there for the auction, but he saw the award and he goes, oh my goodness, come talk to me about this. Do you know about this? And he gave me the whole spiel. And I leaned over to the hunt auctions people who were helping me like schedule me that day. I leaned over to him. I'm like, does he know we're part of hunt auctions? Does he know I'm auctioning this off? Because I don't have the heart to tell him. Because but
so,
at the same,
powerful.
Yeah, and that was the only one. Every other one, even like Defense Player of the Year, even the Mackey Awards, which he cherished so much because of John Mackey and like the way the Hall of Fame did him and stuff. Even then, it was still just, it's a thing, right? And it's better if that thing is in someone's hands that can continually, tell a story about it.
No, absolutely. And I think that, items, they're just items. They're not the memories of your father. They're not also the things that he valued in his personal life, but people latch onto those things. Like people will go to auction and pay big money for Elvis's dandruff. Yeah. Now, on a tangible level, that dandruff is probably worth nothing, but to that person, it could mean a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be something they can link themselves to Elvis, hearing his music, helping them through a tough time in life. Same thing with your father, having that football or, a placard or whatever. Hey, I was going through a tough time in my life, contemplating suicide, looked up to Reggie White. Yep. Just having those possessions like that, I think are, they may be just something to you, but man, they can mean such a connection to the average person. Now, don't get me wrong, there's people who will buy those for investment pieces, but for a lot of people, those possessions are just monumental. I think.
And I think you stated it better than I could have, because that's the exact mindset of what me and my sister and my mom thought. We're like, we will think this about his awards forever, and we will cherish them. But there's just like, if we have a chance to share this with the world, let's do it.
It's my dad's dirty laundry bag.
And do you know how much that went for?
How much?
$450.
Wow.
literally, and there weren't a lot of, I wasn't trying to go through and be like, wow, look how much that's sold for, because there were some things I thought would be a little higher,
right? And
then there were other things that it was just, that didn't, like the Bart Starr Award. I thought that would have went for more, but regardless, it gets to somebody's hands. Yeah, but $450 for a laundry bag.
Wow.
You know what ended up, and this is just personally relate back to me, because I'm a Cowboys fan. I told you guys that the last time, right? So my dad traded helmets with people during the Pro Bowl.
Sure.
So we in my dad's auction, we had like a Michael Strahan helmet, we had a John Randall helmet, but it was from our collection, right?
Right.
And I actually saw John Randall while I was out in Atlanta, and I was like, Mr. Randall. He looked at me like, who is this person trying to? Reggie was my dad, and he instantly like, oh my goodness, your dad meant so much to me. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't want to bother you. I just wanted to come up and just say hey. And he's like, no, oh my goodness, were you going to be on Radio? I said, yeah. I said, I'll try to find you. I'll say that segment because a couple of the players came up and told me how much he meant to them. And that was a big deal. Like I went back to my hotel room that first night and I just let it out. I was just like, this is insane. So, but
larger than life.
Yeah, and it was hard to realize until I started. Well, I'll tell that story first, then I'll end on a high note. I met Charles Haley. Never met Charles Haley before. Obviously, I'm a Charles Haley fan because of him being on the Cowboys. But Still, they didn't pump up the defensive players in the 90s. Not really.
No.
So, it's more like Emmett and Irvin and Aikman and Dion. And you guys saw that 100th anniversary commercial, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I love that. I watched that about 50 times.
That was the best commercial of the whole Super Bowl.
It was.
I
and the reason why they don't pump up defensive stars is because Tecmo Super Bowl was,
Yeah.
Bo Jackson. I got 13 sacks with my dad and a half in
Montana.
the Super Bowl. Yeah, there you go.
All you do is get run back, throw it to Rice, bam.
That's it. That's all you got to do. That's 10. No way, cowboy. So I met Charles Haley, and I walked up to him, and he was actually the first big name I personally walked up to because I didn't want to walk up to, I'm on Radio Row. I don't think I mentioned that. I'm on Radio Row. So and for your listeners, if you've never seen or heard about Radio Row, basically it is the entire country or countries descend upon the Super Bowl for 1 week, and all the media are in one spot. So all of the celebrities that they're interviewing, all the NFL networks there, Yahoo Sports is there. Actually, the greatest story was I met a broadcaster from Tokyo.
Oh, wow.
And they're sitting in the lounge and they're speaking Japanese. And I'm like, I understand everything you're saying, And so I just randomly butted in, and in Japanese I was like,
Konnichiwa.
Nihonjin desu ka? And they were like, Nihongo shaberu. Like, you speak Japanese?
Godzilla.
I asked them if they were Japanese. Yeah.
That's what I would have said.
Like,
Godzilla.
and he was like, why do you know Japanese? I was like, well, my ex-wife is Japanese, and we had this entire conversation. And he goes, why are you here? And I was like, well, Reggie White was my dad. He goes,
Godzilla.
Reggie White, though. and he knew exactly who he was, which blows my mind because nobody in Japan knows about American football. But we had this 10-minute dialogue. They were from New York and all this. So all the media's there, right? And so all the celebrities, all the players.
Not all, because we weren't invited. I appreciate the invite, but that didn't.
The lesser of the media members were there.
Yeah, not
the
us.
important meme kings from Southern Fried Philosophy were not invited.
There. Maybe next year.
I would like to let the NFL know that next year they need to invite Southern Fried Philosophy. It would be the best decision in the 100 years of the NFL being in existence.
I'm not even really worried about the NFL. The lingerie league, I'm kind of down with that.
I have watched that, and I've gone back and forth with if it's real or not. In my mind, I know it's got to be WWE, and I was conflicted watching it because I'm like, obviously I'm watching women in lingerie, but at the same time, they're really hitting out here. I like these out routes they're running. I'm like, this is...
I know you're a fan of wrestling. There's a chick, I can't remember her name now, and, after every touchdown, beer gets thrown to her, Steve Austin style, blah, 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 blah.
I'm more into the puppy bowl. I'll go interview the puppies. Like, hey,
What was that Onion article? Puppy takes a crap during the national anthem. The country loses its mind. Oh boy. Oh gosh. Puppy bowl.
One of the things I did want to bring back to, like, even just talking about spirituality and that part, like, I think our goal is to reflect Christ, reflect God. Like, that's our job as the believers, is to reflect God's heart, reflect God's love. And I think for your dad, and just those memorabilia things, those reflect the man that reflected God to those people.
Like a mirror.
Yeah. And so people, like you were saying, like, they can look at that. But I remember just watching your dad, and I mentioned this earlier, like, he impacted my life. And this is weird, but I wear a CPAP because of your dad.
Oh, yes. If I could tell you the stories of people who told me. It still blows my mind 14 years later. And I know the Lord's up to something, because I know in another 10 years somebody's going to say, I bought your dad's laundry bag. And it's going to be, and it's going to
$450.
And he's like, and this is washed my, my kids' stuff, this or whatever it is. And but it's just, I love hearing those stories because like I heard a lot of them immediately after he passed.
Yeah.
And then everything kind of died down. Oh, terrible word choice. Everything kind of took a step back. Please leave that in. Please don't edit that out.
Side note, that reminds me of me talking to a lender today about a customer who's trying to get on a trike. Now, my customer just lost a leg. an accident. So he's trying to get on a 3-wheel motorcycle. And the lender goes, yeah, we need to really get a leg up on his paperwork. I said, no pun intended, right?
That just Freudian slips, whatever's in your brain. So after things had calmed down, and there was just random people that even I met in Japan. And even, your dad meant this to me. Your dad meant that. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, but yes, and I am so. I think did you mention that to me last time we talked?
I don't think I did.
No, and I am so happy to hear that because it's like, my mom. You guys got to have her on. She has. She does work still with the Sleep Apnea Foundation, and there's just a lot of. There's actually new technology that's like. It's easier now to get these sleep studies done and to get more like non-invasive like CPAPs. Like there's like a dental fixture you can get now.
Well, what?
Yes.
Mouth guard.
How about it?
And it's she can tell you more about that, but she's very much an advocate in that regard.
My wife ever not uses a pillow. Now it's administered by me with 2 hands over it, but
That's a good one.
All right. But yeah, no, it's I know I'm going to run into somebody in the next 5 to 10 years that said, no, I bought your dad's Bart Star Award. I bought this and that and third, and thank you for sharing with me. And I know it's coming because it's all, and that's the thing. It's so funny. I'm going to be 33 this year, and it's funny to me because, we all go through this phase where we're like, oh, is God real? And how can he show that he's real? Da, 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 da. And then stuff just, I'm sure it's happened in you guys' life. Stuff just hits you over the head. It's like, yes,
I'm right here.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's like I've never left.
Nope.
Yes. Oh, you might have thought I was gone. You left, but there's so many things that have happened in my life that if I had to chalk it up to coincidence, I literally wish I could bottle that up, go to Vegas, and then I'd win lots of money.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Or buy the $1.6 billion lottery ticket.
Or Aladdin, one of the two.
Yeah.
But
just think about it. I mean, honestly, I don't know how many pieces you guys auctioned off, but just say 100 people or 100 possessions.
I think it was about 200 something.
Well, you got 200, and then you sell those 200 pieces. Now, there's going to be probably 200 people bought those pieces that are going to now share his legacy, and part of that legacy was not only was he Green Bay, Philadelphia, this guy was a minister, and it's going to open up other two. And how many people are they going to share that to? 6, 10, 12, 15? I mean, who knows?
Seeing it tangibly like that is amazing. So, like when I had met Charles Haley, I expected him to kind of look through me and just say, "Hey, nice to meet you too." Da 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 da. He stopped.
Yeah,
like everything he was doing.
Right.
And he looked at me, and Charles is still this huge man, okay?
Yeah, it's not like you quit football and all of a sudden you're like,
You're just small, right?
5'10", 180.
You shrink down. Oh, there's a joke I could go with there, but it's so inappropriate. So,
moving on.
It's called Valentine's Night.
Hey, I'm so happy to be spending my Valentine's Eve with you guys. This is the first Valentine's I've had single in 8 years.
Well,
and I'm emails to Mojo.
Yeah, so there you go. So,
I may be spending it as single tomorrow, so I have to call you.
Just call and check on me. It's a sad day. Singles Awareness Day is always. I don't know. I'll probably watch some Netflix, maybe some Trigger Mike or Killer Mike Trigger or something. So he stopped. He looked me dead in the eye, and I knew. I was like, "Oh gosh, something's about to happen!" Right? Like, and he shook my hand, and he just looked at me. He's like, "I want you to know your dad mentored me."
Oh wow!
And he's like, "And your dad means so much to me. I am so happy you're here." Da 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 da. And I'm like, I had no idea my dad mentored him. I didn't know that at all. Like. There's actually, I found out recently, a month and a half ago, they were this close. And I know this is great radio because I'm using a motion. These fingers, okay?
Let's also point out that we ate Girl Scout cookies and drank bourbon on the show.
Yes.
So it's not,
He's describing my Valentine's night.
Emails to Mojo.
Meow. They were Thin Mint close. Take a Thin Mint, put it in your hands. They were Thin Mint close. They were that close to be playing on the same team for the 49ers.
Really?
Yes. There's things I can't get into, but literally the same the same person or personnel who was responsible for getting Haley off the team was the same personnel who was responsible for my dad not actually deciding to play for the Niners.
Wow.
They were so close.
Wow.
They were so, and I can't, like, being a football fan now in my, adulthood, they would have wrecked the league.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like one on one side. That would have been like him and Jerome were a force, but Jerome was a DT. If you had two guys coming off the it would have been, and with Montana and Rice, it just would have. It wouldn't even have been fair. So just
He would be a lot like Duke basketball right now.
It'd be like Tecmo Super Bowl.
Zion Williamson. I had a friend of mine tell me that he said, when my wife has her first baby, she's going to say to me, have you ever seen anything more beautiful? And in my mind, I'm going to think of Zion Williamson and say, well, it's up there. Shout out to Ash for that. He's a great guy. Had a rally. Okay, so he's telling me that, right? I go up, I find Steve Marriage, and the most frustrating part of this, guys, is I never use my name and I was wearing my Super Bowl ring, like the one that my dad was able to buy for the family, like not his, right? So it's kind of, you would think that'd be enough proof, like, no, this is my dad. Like, you can flash the ring a little bit, but it was interesting because, like, I went up to Warren Sapp.
But hold on. Wouldn't it be funny if somebody brought the laundry bag and be like, I'm Reggie White's son.
Got a laundry bag. Like, you just had that. You went down the street to Knit and Fit and had that etched in there. That's not his laundry bag because all it says is 92 on it. Like,
but dude, you're 72 years old and gray and white.
It's like a laundry bag. So it's amazing because, like, I could have pulled out my ID, whatever. White's a common last name. But they were just like, because these people had, there's no other way to put it. The people had handlers, like, to keep them on track because they had so much stuff that if they got behind in a conversation, whether that conversation was merited or not, they're off schedule.
Sure.
Like, because it was, I woke up at 6 a.m. and I got back to my hotel at like 6 p.m. It was a full day that first day.
Exhausted.
I had 8 interviews that day. And I know I wasn't even near the top of what some of these guys were doing. So I walk up, Warren Sapp's sitting there and he's eating lunch. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm not about to bother this guy with lunch. But I do remember being in the locker room with him at the Pro Bowl. So I'm like, I hope he remembers me. I know he knows my dad. So Warren Sapp, the problem is when you have, I don't know how much Warren's worth, but when you have
he went bankrupt a few years ago.
Yeah, so I don't know how much he's worth, but he still's got that name, right?
Prominence.
And when you have that name, somebody's going to be grabbing for something. I could tell you guys stories after stories, and it's just every time I see these young kids get drafted, I immediately am like, I wish I could be your life coach just for a month. Yeah. That's actually the biggest regret I have of not playing myself. And I know my sister and whoever's listening to this is laughing like, oh, like you could have played, I got small hands, but it's I wish I could. I have my mom's hands, and I know there's a joke there, but it's true.
I'm just thinking of the whole Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I used to tell people this all the time. And then when that became a joke because of Trump, I'm like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. Like, I literally have small hands. Like, so I'm, oh, my gosh, what I could talk to y'all for 4 hours. Where was I?
Warren Sapp.
Okay. So when you have any amount of prominence, somebody's trying to reach in and offer you a business opportunity. Well, this guy had just approached him out of nowhere and was like, I have an opportunity for you. Warren's like, okay. And I mean, he kept eating. He wasn't really listening. And the guy's trying to get out his thing, talking to him for 2 minutes. And Warren's like, I still don't hear a question here. Like, you got to get to the point, right? The guy was basically, if I heard it correctly, he was proposing to Warren Sapp that Warren be part of some sort of fantasy football thing where the winner could make up to $250,000. But the catch was that Warren or other players who were going to be playing in it would be spending their own money to help promote it.
Nope.
And Warren said, you want players you're going to use their name and likeness, and you want them to be a part of the actual bracket and spend their own money. And the guy goes, that's what I would pitch. What do you think people would say? He said, if that was me, I'd tell you to go. You know, he's like, you need to pay me if you're gonna use me. You know, so this stuff, I'm sure. And so he just got done with this.
You'd have a better chance of trying to put me as the brand ambassador for a feminine hygiene product.
It's like it just doesn't. So he had just got done with that conversation.
Yeah.
And then I came up to him.
All right.
He literally pointed to his handler. I was like, oh, shucks, I'm being handled. Okay, great. So I just looked at the handler. I said, I just wanted to say hey to Mr. Stapp. I'm Reggie White's son. And then immediately Warren looks over me like, tell Mama I said hello. Oh. Right, you know, and he started talking to me, and then I gave him a book the next day. But I went up to Warren Moon. I know he knew me, but it was so much going on.
Sure.
But then the last, there was a few other stories I could tell you guys, but just to keep it short, Brian Dawkins was part of the same hunt auctions that I was, and he said when he actually kind of calmed down for a minute, and he was like, "Oh my goodness," because he had met me 3 hours beforehand, but he looked straight through me because he didn't hear. Sure. This is Jeremy White. This is Reggie's son. And so later on that day, this was on Thursday. He said, he stopped everything and said, I just want you to know, I could not have been the player I was had I not emulated your dad, not only on the field, but his off the field. Wow. He said he was my inspiration for exactly how I could achieve my goals and be the man I am and the football player I was.
Man. That's huge.
And I was like, thank you. But he was like, no, I just really want you to know. Yeah. It's like, I could not have done it unless I had seen him. I'm like, okay, so he inspired a Hall of Fame career. Wonderful. And, and Brian Dawkins does so much in the community and stuff. And he's a believer. And it was amazing that because he's so humble off the field. And he said he only learned that humility because of what my dad exuded, So that was a big moment. And the day before, me and Roman Gabriel talked for an hour, and that was just I had talked to so many different people, and it was the same thing. I talked to Steve Mariucci, and he immediately was like, "How's your mom? I've been trying to get in touch with her." And I was like, "Well," and then Steve's handler, "We got to keep it moving. We got to keep it moving," And I'm just and Herschel Walker was there, and my mom was like, "You should have gone up and said hey to Herschel. We know Herschel. Your dad roomed with Herschel." I'm thinking, but I don't think Herschel knows who I am. And he's Herschel Walker, Right. And I saw Evander Holyfield. Did not go up to him, but I saw him. And I remember meeting Evander Holyfield at the ESPYs when my dad I was 12 years old. And it was cool meeting Holyfield, but I got to meet Tyra Banks that year. That was the highlight.
That trumps that.
Oh, it was great. I think I was 13 years old. I was going through my ugly phase. My sister would probably be like, "You're still going through that phase." But it was emotional on a point of I was right back. I don't know any other way to say this. I was right back at his funeral again. Because it was the same thing at the funeral. Everybody was coming up to me from everybody I'd ever known in all the states I lived in, all the states we visited, in all the countries they all swarmed in on Charlotte, and they couldn't stop. They couldn't get enough of. There wasn't enough of me to go around for them to exude their appreciation for everything my dad meant to them. And going back to Radio Row or going to Atlanta and seeing some of these old players, it was the same thing. It wasn't as many people, but it was the same sort of deal. And I was just I was like, man, I'm so happy I have good self-esteem, because literally I'm 32 years old. If I had terrible self-esteem, I'd be like, look at all the stuff my dad accomplished by the time he was 32. What am I doing with my life?
But put in perspective, for a lot of those guys, the ones that took time to speak to you and tell you how much your dad meant to them, in a lot of ways, I'm sure you're a fulfillment of his legacy in their minds. He had this son. I know if I'm a good father, that hopefully my kid will turn out to be a good kid. I mean, but it was also an opportunity for you to be that vessel to receive that good news from them. They may not have had an opportunity to tell Reggie that. So,
and out of all of the, and I say this, and I don't want to sound bad, but
I literally said when things died down. You're fine. You're fine.
Those trinkets that you have that you gave away, his greatest achievement and award and thing that he had was you.
Yeah.
And so
And your sister, just in case she's listening.
Right.
Your family. And that's the legacy. It wasn't those things. It's you, and you're pushing that. And you can edit this part out, but just thinking like your dad did wonderful things and granted you access to amazing things because he went before you. And in the same way, like our father did so much great things that we can have access and go before wonderful things in the future. And it plays the same. You know?
And that's how I'm introspectively looking at it. And that's why I'm like, you know what? The greatest thing I can continue to do is just continue to go after my passion and, and be
absolutely.
everything he taught me to be and to give him some grandkids. So we're not there yet, but we're getting there. Yeah. And it just kind of came. It's like when all these when all these intangible ideas are in your head and like you know them to be true, for you to see it tangibly through somebody else constantly, like physically saying, "Hey, da da da, hey," I was like, "Oh man, ooh." Like it just." I was glad he raised. And my mom was gonna say, "What about me?" I was glad they raised me and my sister to be who we are, because we could. I think I told you guys about this the last time we talked. There's so many different ways we could have gone had he allowed it or not cared as much. Because I keep using this example, and I hate to use this example, but it's the only true example that's readily available is with Andy Reid and his oldest son. Like that could have been me. My mom's like, no, it wouldn't. But you never know. It just depends. And not saying Andy they did anything wrong,
right?
Not at all, because they are wonderful people. But it's like even with Dungy's son, and just like things you don't know the struggles that people are going through, and it's just it could have easily, had it been a different situation, different. I'll tie it into this. I met Charles Haley's son out there, and he's 28. And I had, for the majority of my life, I'm thinking I'm like in this unique category of being the oldest. Well, I don't think he's the oldest son, but being son of a legend who, Hall of Famer, who was born before his dad got big, right? Okay, so there's not a lot of us walking around, right? Because if you look at LeBron's the closest thing I can think of right now. Like his kid was born when he was, and he had the advantage of being 18, so he was, but I think of LeBron. Maybe there's some other people, but nothing with the notoriety in the sport. I know there's probably, I don't know, maybe Gretzky's daughter or something, but we're a very unique class, okay? And I remember walking up to Charles Haley's son. It was randomly. It shouldn't have happened. It was while I was holding the Bart Starr Award. And I said, hey, he says, hey, what's your name? I said, hey, I'm Jeremy White. And somebody goes, this is Reggie's son. I'm like, yeah, okay. And he goes, and I go, what's your name? And he whispers, Charles Haley. And I was like, wait. And I had the moment that other people had with me. I was like, wait, your name is Charles Haley. Yeah. So that means Charles is, and he's like, yeah. He's not trying to bring a whole lot of attention to himself, even though he's there with his dad. He's still not trying to bring a ton of attention. I said, I need your information. I was like, me and you need to talk. I know I'm not alone in the world, but at the same time, to meet an individual that you appear to me that you are trying to be humble. You appear to me that you're not trying to use your father's name because of how you answered when I asked you what your name was. Your voice went down and you went almost into a whisper. We're at Radio Row, dude. Like, like you could have said it in normal tone. And I'm like, it reminded me of myself when certain people were like, is Reggie White your dad? I'm like, yeah, he's my dad, but that's not, I don't want to get any extra special treatment. Like, and that's the kind of vibe I got from him. And it was funny because he said, I wish Netflix would do a series on all of us. And I was like,
pitch it.
That would be great because
that would be
I was like, because you don't get to see, like, I know Warren Moon's oldest daughters, I think, are my age. I know, like, there's a lot of athletes like oh gosh, what's his name? Oh my goodness, Hardy Nickerson's kids. are about my age. Like Michael Dean Perry's kids are about my age. But you start throwing some of these other names around, and they don't. No disrespect, they don't hold the weight like a Charles Haley or a Reggie White does, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that he said, I was like, man, I said, where do you live? And he's like, I'm in Dallas. I said, I'm coming to see you. I said, me and you. And he's down there, and he has like a ranch, and he rides horses and stuff. And he had a cowboy hat on with like a feather in it. Yeah, he was all about that life, right? And yeah.
Oh, no.
And so it was an interesting experience because I think out of everything that happened that weekend, I loved what Brian Dawkins said to me. I love what Charles Haley said to me, and I was so happy to meet Charles Haley's son because it was almost one of those moments where I was like, oh, I'm not alone in this. Oh my gosh, because there's some athletes, kids that I've met that just they know they're such and such as kid, and they know
coattail riders.
Yeah, they're just gonna be.
I'm somebody because of my dad.
Yeah,
it's like trust fund babies.
Yes, that go around just and it's any walk of life, right? You could be. I went to a school that shall not be named, but if you
or my father went to a school that shall not be.
Yeah,
named.
it just it's like all this stuff. But literally, I went to a school that shall not be named. That the kids treated me like they were above me because their parents were and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I got something over all of y'all, and you know it, but I'm not gonna. I don't play that card.
We're actually going to the same school together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it was. I won't call them out, but let's just say they were in the news 5 years ago for some bad, underhanded. Their principal or owner, whatever, went to jail for not money laundering, but he was taking money from this. Yeah, it was bad. But anyway. So it's not like I'm not putting it off the air. I will. I might even put that on the air. I don't care. They need to get their act together. They do not celebrate Martin Luther King Day.
Oh, really?
They do not. They do not at all. They say they don't want to celebrate a man. It's just a man. It was a private Christian school. Okay. They said they don't want to celebrate a man. And I was like, okay, but your religion is founded in Calvinism. So to each their own, but whatever. Anyway.
Touche.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it was actually really therapeutic for you.
It was
being down there.
Perfect, and that's what I told my sister. I said, "This has been therapeutic. Getting all his stuff together, getting it ready." Because my mother was out of the country. My sister flies for Delta. Shout out to Delta. She was flying.
I lost my bags last time.
Did they really? You know what? I don't know what my sister can do, but we can give you a snack pack. You want some snack packs?
Oh, some peanuts. Ooh. Oh, they don't do peanuts anymore, do they?
Yeah, that's not.
I like the generic version of like Chex Mix.
No, okay.
I know some of the planes of it.
Next time I come, I'm going to tell my sister she's got to hook you up. She can get you some. We can get you some snack packs. We're going to get you something.
You know what? I never expected rubbing elbows with Jeremy White would lead me to this.
Yeah, this is what you get. This is the coattails you get to ride.
It's not so much any Reggie White stuff. It's more about
let's talk about the important things.
Yeah.
Snack packs and
I never turned down anything.
You're right. I like some snack
There's
packs.
only a few things I turned down, but never snacks.
No, it was oh gosh, snack packs.
I want to see a picture of you holding a snack pack.
Absolutely.
I want that posted.
Absolutely. I will.
My sister has she has so many stories but she's
actually that would be a great show. Like, so is she a flight attendant? What's she doing?
Flight attendant.
Ooh,
she's
got
so many.
I wonder if she.
It's only been a year.
No,
she has so many.
So she would
stories.
not be on the plane where I defecated in a vomit bag.
Oh no, you did? No, she would not have been on that plane.
True story, it was.
Right after 9/11.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Oh, well, there's a lot of stuff going on in that story. It was right after 9/11. You defecated into
one of the vomit
bag.
Yeah.
First of all, I have so many questions. The logistics, the aim.
It's got the little funnel on it.
Okay, and so
I mean, it must have not been a snake. It must have been pretty loose.
No, it was.
I can't believe it.
It had to have been. Could it have been? Wouldn't it have been easier if it was? No, maybe not.
It's one of the activities in the Olympics. Where you
the runs.
Yeah,
the runs.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like Teen Titans, he had explosive diarrhea.
Yeah.
That movie was hilarious. Okay, where did we
Going
get
back.
on track? So, yes, I don't know if she is therapeutic.
Yeah.
It was extremely therapeutic, and that's what I told her because I was the only person who could my mom, like I said, mom was out of the country. Sister was flying at the time, and it was late December, and I'm getting all of his stuff together because it was something my mother and David Hunt had talked about, but there was something personal that was happening in his life. My mom was getting ready for her trip to be out of the country, and so it didn't line up. And then my mom goes, "Hey,
by the way,
they want to come." I'm like, "Whoa!" No. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And she goes, "No. They're going to bring a team, a team of people." And all you have to do is point, right?
Oh,
and
no.
The funny thing was, it was just David and Jeremy. And I told David that story, and David was like...
That is a team.
It was two. It was technically a team. And I wanted to help him out. I was like, you want me to, like, care? They said, no, just show us where it is, and we'll get everything. But it was extremely professional. But it was more therapeutic than I thought it was going to be, because I'm going back looking at some of the stuff like, oh, man, maybe we could do this. Maybe this could go. And it just... all these memories started coming back. And then Radio Row, for it being, I was only there 2 days. But the first day was the most therapeutic, because it was like, I got back to my hotel room, I'm in Atlanta, it's the Super Bowl, and it was just me in my room thinking about all the things that had just transpired, and all the positivity, and all the, all the questions, and oh my goodness, Jeremy, thank you for your time. You don't realize how, like, I was on Tennessee stations, I was on Florida stations, I was on Wisconsin stations, and it was... I let it out. I think I cried for like 25 minutes.
Sure.
Like it just, and the thing is, I don't know. It's interesting because, my sister, she went to school for family psychology. She has 2 masters in this field. And she goes, we just don't do a good job in this country talking about grief.
100%.
And getting people ready for the inevitable. And she's like, and the thing that I keep taking into my life, I'm like, if it comes, I let it come. I'll just let the wave happen. And because I keep going back to, if there weren't good memories, then I wouldn't be sad. My sadness is a byproduct of an excellent memory.
That's a good point. That's
same
really
thing
good
I
point.
had when I left Japan. I was like, I left Japan, and there was like this sadness I had, and I kept having to tell myself, that means something good happened. It's just, it's this balance. It's this yin yang, right? You got to have the good with the bad, and it's just people want to stay. That's why I love. Okay, weird tangent, but that's why I thought Inside Out was such a great movie. Did you see Inside Out?
Yeah, I love that movie.
I thought that was.
Wait, which one's that?
It's
one?
the cartoon movie.
It's the one with the emotions in the head.
Yeah,
Joy, sadness, grief,
Joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust.
Hungry.
Hungry. Exactly. But it was. I loved it because it was. We thought, oh man, if you can control your emotions, wouldn't you always want to remember joy? And they were like, no, but that's part of. But joy is a part of sadness. That was a deep movie.
I cried like a baby back.
But you still never saw Lion King
Or Cardi B video.
So I don't want to ruin it for you. Do you know the big death in The Lion King?
Hey, careful.
No, I don't.
All right,
You don't.
Just let him leave.
You've managed to avoid
Listen, just stop.
What's his Gmail?
Stop.
Everybody send him spoilers. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Please
Text
don't
him.
do that.
I'll give you his number right now.
Oh my gosh.
You can see it tonight.
Yeah.
I can't believe. I'm sorry. You don't know what happens in the movie at all.
I know that this cat gets held up to the sun by this gray-looking animal. I know that.
This is what I want from you. I want when you watch this thing, I want live tweeting.
I'm following it.
Please, God.
Yes.
Live tweet using the SFP one and just live tweet this.
It's going to be better than the Super Bowl.
I can do that.
It's going to be better than the Super Bowl. I will literally. I'm going to promote you.
I probably could have a tweet storm of all the Disney movies I'd never seen because of my wrecked childhood due to these.
So just live tweet it. So if you're listening,
Oh man,
I've never seen Little Mermaid.
I haven't either. I haven't seen that one.
I forgive you. I forgive you. And nobody knew who I was pointing to. I was pointing to both of them.
I haven't seen. Now I've watched Aladdin enough times.
See, the thing is,
That was my favorite.
But I haven't seen Aladdin either. I'm telling you right now, I've seen.
All right.
I've seen the Aladdin TV show or Jasmine TV show or whatever. But
okay, right, because that's been pushed. Okay, so if you get to the songs, right, and you ever want
Under the Sea.
yeah, if you ever need
That's not in Jasmine though.
That was not in. We need to talk about you the way you sounded like me describing the Girl Scout cookies earlier. You know, the peanut butter ones. It's like the
They're
Jasmine.
in the desert, and you say under the sea.
This is not Aquaman.
Actually, in Aquaman though, they do
They
go
were
to
in the desert. That's what it's like. It's
They
such
sing,
a,
under, they sing Under the Sea in Aquaman?
no,
Yes.
they're in a desert. And even though he's supposed to be Aquaman, like, why are they in a desert? It was when they get to the singing parts, call me, and then I'll sing like the karaoke version.
There you go.
To get you like primed and ready, and then you can say, I know Jeremy White, and he did a better job than the Disney characters
like that.
did.
Straight up, I
like
need
that.
live tweeting on Lion King.
I may just do a Periscope or Facebook Live with motion.
I think we need to do. You guys need to do that. I would totally be down to promote that.
42-year-old man.
Seriously,
How would the headline read that? 42-year-old man robbed of childhood.
Watches.
Disney movies. I don't know.
Anyway, we're gonna write this down and mail it to ourselves.
You know what? Hold on. We know what we need to do. Me and you need to get together and do some over-unders or like some bets and some prop
odds.
bets.
Yeah.
Like, will he cry on this scene? How many seconds until he cries on this scene? How long until he starts kind of bobbing along with the music? Because all this music is new to him.
Yeah. At what point would he fall asleep?
That's another one. And I think The Little Mermaid, I think I could sense on when he could.
So we'll need a list here of things I've got to catch up on.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Anyway, back to our
I think
guest.
Toy Story on. I'm good with.
You haven't seen Toy
hold on.
Story?
You saw Toy Story?
I've seen Toy Story.
Okay.
Did you see Toy Story 3?
Yeah.
Did you cry?
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be
this is
good
gonna
with
be
the
great.
over-under
This is
stuff
gonna be
because
great.
this is
We're gonna need this.
So that's a good barometer.
Now here's the thing. Here, and I know we want to get back to our guest.
Yeah.
Whatever. This is more important. Do not watch any of the sequels. Like if you haven't seen Mulan, don't bother with.
There's a Mulan too.
There's a Mulan 2. There's a Little Mermaid 2. There's a Lion King 2.
Yeah, we're just going
Are those-
straight only for the original.
Is that the
bother.
straight to DVD versions or something?
Basically,
Probably, yeah.
basically, and Mulan's great. Mulan's a great. Did you see Mulan? No. Okay, the answer's no. They're all Chinese. They're not Japanese. Which, fun fact, you will not find Mulan in Japan at all.
Really?
Period. They have all the other Disney princesses. They do not have Mulan.
There's a little
Just a
partisan
little bit 2,000-year-old
yeah.
racism that makes whatever people think is going on in this country look like they hate each other.
Oh yeah.
They hate each other.
The Koreans too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I had a Korean. I
want some
have to
barbecue right now.
context this.
I want some like pot stickers and egg rolls.
We're gonna move on from that.
And I want to go to my favorite
Korean barbecue.
Yeah, but
Kimchi.
bulgogi, kimchi, and I want to go to my favorite Chinese restaurant that I will not mention because he calls me, "Hey, Rondai." And I give him a high five, and he brings me out brings me out food and
so
also
much I
what
could
they
say.
cook for the kitchen. So it's awesome.
Korea's great. I haven't been there, but I know it's okay. So,
rounding this thing out.
got to tell you guys what was the highest selling thing.
Come on.
You could see it online, but I'm not going to say the number because I don't want to be whatever.
We'll do over under on this.
It was, we could do over under. So I'm going to tell you guys what it was.
Okay.
And then you guys can say what you thought. So it was Emmitt Smith's traded helmet during the '94 season in the Pro Bowl. The players used to trade helmets with each other. So at one point in time, I believe we had Barry Sanders' helmet, Jerry Rice's helmet, John Randall's.
Don't look. You
Emmitt
can't
Smith's. I don't even think he knows where to find it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but they showed that was the one he traded with. So my dad gave him his helmet from that season, and then Emmitt gave him his helmet.
The 94 season.
94 season. Emmitt signed it, and it was there's 2 decals on the back for a couple of players. I don't know if they passed away that year or whatever, but it was a very, unique helmet. And we think Emmitt wrote on there, "Thanks for the great week." But it looked like my dad's handwriting, so we weren't completely sure because my dad, fun fact, had terrible handwriting. He passed that down to his son. It was it's bad.
Sure.
I have all his Bible notes that I want to go through,
You
but
can't
it's
read.
just going to be tough.
Yeah, but you have to read them right to left.
Hebrew. There you go. I see what you did there.
Don't.
So this helmet is there, and I'm at Radio Row breaking everybody's hearts, telling them I'm a Cowboy fan.
Sure.
Right? Because they're, and I'm
They
like,
didn't-
fun
wouldn't say
fact.
that.
Right. I think that's what pushed this up.
Oh.
I really, in my heart of hearts, I really believe that
Yeah.
somebody out there was like, Reggie White's son's a Cowboys fan?
Here we go.
And they've got an Emmitt Smith helmet? Oh, my goodness. So
I'm going to make sure he's not going to buy that back.
it was right. Which, fun fact, I have 2 helmets signed by Emmitt and 1 thing personally signed to me. I'm good. You can keep it. So, totally fine. And a jersey. I think I have more stuff signed by Emmitt Smith than I do my own father made out to me. But birthday cards, I guess they count. Parent-teacher conference slips. Okay. Anyway.
Laundry basket.
That was what, right. From Reggie with love. Here's a laundry bag.
Do the laundry.
So this thing was the highest seller. I'll give you a we had a Eagles chair that it's just a helmet chair.
Okay.
Eagles, and it's the most uncomfortable chair, but it's cool because it's a helmet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it would be great in a man cave.
Right.
I think the reserve price, they thought it was going to go for maximum maybe $2,500, right? Because it was my dad's, right? And I think it got awarded to him by like the Eagles. They gave him a chair, like
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thanks. He couldn't fit in it. Okay.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that actually went for like $6,500. It was crazy because the guy from Hunt Auction, he goes, "Did you see the chair?" I was like, "Really? Like who?" The Cowboys helmet wasn't different stratosphere. You guys want to do the over under on this?
But to be fair, at the back of the Eagles chair, you can do the Iron Throne behind it, which would be really awesome.
Yeah.
See, and now you're talking because now you can do a 92 back there. You can do a Jerome Brown 99. You can do a Van Buren something. You could do
with swords.
So whoever bought that chair, invite Southern Fried Philosophy to Radio Row for Super Bowl 2020 because that's an excellent. Now I'm wishing I kept the chair so that I could be sitting in the Iron Throne.
Should have asked me. All right, so this helmet.
Yeah.
Do you want to set the over under? Do you want to set it?
No.
I'm going to go. I'll set it at $21,000.
Okay.
Over under. Under. You're saying under. I'm.
About the under. Okay.
No. I'm saying 21,000. He's saying under. So if it's above, I win. If it's below, he.
Okay. Way too low.
Really?
Almost triple that.
Whoa!
Oh, holy crap!
Almost triple that. I saw that and I sat back in my seat and I'm just like, I had something to do with that. I must have had something to do with that because literally the reserve price I think was maybe 15. Wow. Maybe, and it was this readily available information. So Madre, don't call me out for saying, "Why are you telling our business?" It's not our business. It's readily available on the internet. It was $57,500.
Wow.
Yeah, I was blown because you got to understand in context of everything else, the Bart Starr Award, the Mackey Awards, the All Madden Awards, the Defensive Player of the Year, nothing came close.
Wow,
nothing came close to that. Like the jerseys, there was a few jerseys that yes, they did well, but like you would think like older Pro Bowl jerseys, maybe making maybe breaking into 5 figures there, 10,000 and up. Nope, it's like. It was just, it floored me. I was like, the number one thing in my dad's auction was a cowboy item. Oh my goodness.
The irony.
Like I thought it was so funny. But at the same time, I took solace in the fact that I was like, all right, Dad, I see you looking out for me. You're, because let me tell you guys a quick story. I had a chance to go to the Cowboys game, the Cowboys versus the Buccaneers last year. Never been to AT&T Stadium before. Never been to a Cowboys game in Arlington, ever. My sister is talking to my mom. She's like, "Hey, I'm gonna fly for free. I'll pay for Jeremy's ticket. Let's go out." And my mom's like, "I think I have a connection." She called a Hall of Famer who will not be mentioned and said, "My son's a big Cowboy fan." He said, "Hey, we can get him out. We can get him to the game." Wow. Awesome. My sister's sitting there, setting us all behind the scenes. She said, "You want to go to Dallas for the game?" I was like, "What? Really?" I got turned into that person. And she's like, "Yeah, we got it. We're all set. Don't look at the price on the ticket. We're all good. We got you. You're set." I was like, "Oh man!" Meet my sister down there. We get to the hotel that the flight attendants are staying at, where there's an Indian wedding. We're thinking about crashing because it was gorgeous and it smelled like curry. It was at least 5 conference rooms. Right. We were about to crash it.
Huge.
It was great. We didn't crash it. that would have been the better story. So
Oh no.
we get the next day we wake up, we go to the AT&T Stadium. I'm like Facebooking and Instagram. I'm about to be in here and all this stuff. I'm so excited. We get up to will call. All the way to will call. We're there. Cowboys, Dallas. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm wearing my Ezekiel Elliott. I'm turned into a fan. I'm just like freaking out. And they said, what's name is it under? We're like, Jeremy White, Jacolia White. And they said, we don't have it under there. And then we named the Hall of Famer's name. I said, would it be under that? Well, we had no way to prove it because we didn't have our IDs didn't say his name.
Right.
So they're like, no, we don't have it.
Oh no.
We call my mom. My mom says, here's the player's number. Call him. Called him. The player called us back. At this point, it's second quarter. We had decided to walk back to one of their, they had Texas Live. It was across from Ranger Stadium. And my sister got mad enough for the both of us. I'm sitting there everything's bigger in Texas, especially the disappointments. I'm trying to, it was that whole thing. And so it was, we got all the way there. We talking to the Hall of Famer. We were on the phone. It's second quarter. He's like, I am so sorry. And he said, my guy, the connection in Dallas, because he's not in Dallas. He said, my connection in Dallas forgot. Just forgot to bring tickets to will call. So he goes, I'm going to try to get in touch with him. It ended up being the third quarter. He told us, walk back to the stadium. We may be able to still get you in.
Oh, no.
We get all the way back to the stadium. The guy who dropped the ball calls us. And in a very unprofessional voice, not disrespectful. It was just very much like, you entrusted the transaction of taking tickets to will call to a person who, when my sister talked to him on the phone, did not say, hello, hello, Mrs. White, this is such and such. He answered the phone and goes, oh, hey, this Rocky. And my sister's like, oh, God. And they're like, I'm real sorry. That wasn't such and such fault. It was my fault. I'm real sorry about that. Are y'all from Dallas? And she goes, no, we flew in from Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're here just for the game. He's like, oh, man.
My bad.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it was. And it was that we couldn't get mad at anybody. We knew it was this person's fault. We didn't know. It wasn't the Hall of Famer's fault. It wasn't my mom's fault. It wasn't anything. But it was, but I thought walking away, this is exactly what I get. I had no heartbreak for the Cowboys that year up to that point. That was how my dad stuck it in that year. To the point where the playoff loss to the Rams meant nothing to me. I was just like, okay, it is what it is.
You can't cut me anymore.
I want him to lift the curse, man. God, he's going to let it. Okay, sorry.
And they thought after Romo left, that was going to lift the curse.
Oh, my gosh, no. And I told it on Radio Row, I said, for all the Cowboy fans, blame Jeremy White. And I was on a Packer radio network, and they go, no, these are Packer fans. They are thanking you right now.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what it is. That's why I believe in God.
That was just Saul of Tarsus moment.
Biblical references.
Well
I love it.
Sir. All right.
Okay.
Well, that's enough for one show, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to come back on again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't want you guys to get tired of me. I have a tendency to drone on.
We love it.
All good.
We love it. So anyway, appreciate Jeremy coming on the show here. I know you got some things going on, so plug your sites, plug your books.
Yes. So Estelle and Gustav on Amazon.com.
I got to tell you a story about that real quick.
Okay. And so if you go on, it's Gustav, Gustoff. It's not Gustav, A-V. It's easier to rhyme for the kids. Off and Gustav. Okay. And also, if you could go on YouTube, youtube.com/C, the letter C, /Jeremy White Education. Give me a subscribe on Lift Tutoring. Since I've been talked to you guys, remember you guys won the Southern Philosophy bump, right?
Yeah, the SFP bump.
Well, I will let you guys completely take credit for this.
Nice.
I am at
up to 6
1,860 subscribers.
We did it.
I went from 120 to Well, no. When I talked to you guys, it was less than 100.
Yeah,
like
we
96
were
or
trying to
something
get
like
you
that, yeah.
over 100.
That's right. And there were some people who had subscribed to help me get over 100. And
Awesome,
then
man.
I guess the international reach,
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
1,860. So
If we can get all 1,680 to listen to our show, that'd be fantastic.
you know what? I'm going to plug you guys. I'm going to say
Reverse plug.
this show is brought to you by Southern Fried
There you
Floss.
go.
It is.
There you go.
I'm getting so much. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And
Actually, I'd do it right over that shoulder if you could just get that.
you know
that'd be
what,
great.
though? That would be a great topic, though, to get a kid who has seen The Lion King breaking it down with you.
Making fun of me.
Yeah, because I got a ton of stuff. Like I do video game stuff on there because I tell parents, hey, critical thinking is not just with books. Like here's some good ways to connect with your kids. Like all the parents don't understand Fortnite. I try to incorporate some of that stuff, not Fortnite, but into my channel.
What's Fortnite?
No,
You're not.
bless
No,
the
you're
bear.
not. You're not serious. Okay, I'm gonna leave you alone. But so it's educational stuff, but it's also like tips about connecting with your kids.
we've
Don't
created a
let
monster.
them listen to Cardi B.
We've
That
created
is
a
not
monster.
age appropriate. Do not let them go watch Deadpool. That is not age appropriate. Do not let them play Mortal Kombat. That is not age appropriate. There are more games that are age. Kingdom Hearts 3, Super Smash. I can go on and on, but it's just like my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
Like you'd be amazed at how many parents are like, oh, I just don't want them playing all these violent video games. Newsflash. Most of the video games that are sold are not violent.
Yeah.
Just do a little bit of research, and there's that little ESRB logo, and it tells you.
I like Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong is excellent. Do you guys are you guys know about Super Smash Brothers?
I've heard of it.
Quick plug to your listeners: if you want to berate somebody, please come to my channel because I am ranking all 75 of the fighters, 75 through 1. So I'm bound to tick somebody off, which is hopefully what I'm looking for.
Everybody's in somebody's
You're
boat.
gonna put that person at that. So that's but it's critical thinking, making lists, getting kids to say who, what, when, where, why, and how.
It's kind of like this. It's kind of like this bourbon and Girl Scout cookie.
This
critical thinking.
Absolutely,
There you go.
absolutely. I think
Good job, Egan.
And that's what I did. I
appreciate
thought
that.
you needed some critical skill help, so I put that together.
Check on skill set.
Oh my goodness,
YouTube, like
Yes.
you said.
Gustav.
Estelle and
Gustav.
Gustav, yes, and that's lifttutoring.net. That'll lead you to some of the videos too. But just hit the subscribe button. That's all I need. I just need that subscribe button because I'm trying to, when you can get any sort of monetization, it helps me be able to pass on that to some of the kids I'm tutoring.
Yeah.
Interesting story about this, Estelle and Gustav. I took that book home that you brought for my daughter, and she's 6 years old. I can't remember how many episodes back on that you were on, but we now have about 168 books that she has written. She calls it S and Bestie is her name of her books. But she was inspired by that book. And
Wait, really?
no kidding, man. I'm telling you, brought that book, read it to her probably 3 or 4 nights in a row, and all of a sudden she's out there. I mean, I've gone through probably 7 reams of paper just for her, like.
Wait.
She does her own illustration. She comes up with a storyline and everything. It could be like Est and Bestie go buy a burger, or Est and Bestie rob a bank, or whatever it may be. She does that.
Hold on, because she read that. You read that book with her.
I will swear on my life, absolutely.
I'm gonna. Oh, I'm so excited about
Dude,
it.
His eyes are lighting up right now.
Our house is littered with like 6-page books, 8-page books.
I am happy that your daughter could
Connect
be,
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
me
was
too.
that
Me
was
too.
because that was literally. Oh gosh, that's a whole nother segment. But that literally, I wrote it because I was working at a daycare, and the characters were representative of the kids, and they were inputting, and then I just had to like tune it up. I still have a girl who's going to be, she's going to be 15 this year.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and she was on me. Get this done, get this done, get this done. The second one, the third one. We met after I was on last time, and she said, this is where this needs to take place. This is going to take place in this area, because she has Asperger's. And she said, this is going to take place in this area, and we're going to base it off the 3 romantic kingdoms, Mr. Jeremy. And I go, Lola, please tell me what the 3 romantic. She goes, obviously, it's because it's based on this book, but we're going to have 2 romantic kingdoms because 3 is too many. And she went down and broke all this down. I looked up this book about the 3 romantic kingdoms. Guess what year it was written?
1800.
1500s.
What?
She read this book, and she just knew all about the 3 romantic periods. And I said, why did you read this? And she goes, she looked at me like I was crazy. She was like, because I was interested in it.
What? Sourcing material for the book.
Literally. So there's a second one. There's a prequel in the works. There's all sorts of stuff. But I really love
George Lucas just signed on, I heard.
I heard Walt Disney. They decided. I'm in a bidding war right now.
Right.
Between DreamWorks, Sony, and Disney.
Pixar.
Right.
And Netflix is trying to vie in on a deal.
And it might be a YouTube Red series.
Yes, absolutely. You know, Hulu original.
Yeah.
There we go. And, you know, we're trying to look at possibly getting Will Smith to play as one of the main characters. I think.
Well done.
Yeah.
He's the
Will Smith has
Gustav. Will's going to be the Norwal.
Yeah. It's
Sorry, buddy.
I'll have to make a blue character just for him. And they would say, why do you make this blue character? Because of Aladdin. Was it Aladdin?
Aladdin, you're right. Oh, gosh. Well done. All right, we got to wrap this thing up, guys. I hate to do that, but let's go ahead and wrap it up.
You got to go to the meeting.
You're right. I'm starving right now. I need more Girl Scout cookies.
Hey guys, we appreciate you tuning in as every week. You please go to our Facebook page at Southern Fried Philosophy, our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com. You can also, which my favorite way to connect is through our iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you legally source your pirated music. I don't care. Just go there, subscribe, rate, give us a review. Like I said, please go follow Jeremy out there. Support his YouTube channels and Facebook.
Lift Tutoring, LIFT. Lift
There you
Tutoring.
go. Appreciate you guys as always.
And as always, keep looking up.